Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the evil that men do. Father God, I pray and ask that you help me to have mercy on others the same way I would want you to have mercy on me. Father God, I also ask that you help me to be quick to forgive and slow to get angry. Amen, amen, amen. These young dudes out here don't respect shit until you put the barrel in their ear and let the text spit. I just might catch a case on my next hit, remove their whole face on some special effect shit. So show respect, Trick, or I'ma have a flashback. Digging through the dresser like fuck it, where my mask at? The mash back with the banger and damage shit and say fuck everything I learned in anger management. Hop back on some east side managed shit and push a nigga's top back when I let the cannon spit. Start planning shit, premeditation. I'm in love with the streets again, rededication. Casket or cremation when I shoot you down. I was built for the smoke like a hookah lounge. I keep big shit that sound like a bazooka sound, and I shoot quicker than ain't gotta be a hoop around. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing key zaps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing key zaps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Gun on me, it ain't never for show, homie. I'm far from a bully, but I'm never a hoe. Get out of line, my Beretta will blow. Real talk, we can take the beef wherever we go. I bring it to your front door like I'm Uber Eats. I guarantee you listen up when this Ruger speaks. Plus I maneuver through these streets like a ghost, and I'm handy with the heat. I cook a nigga like a roast. On me, homie, this is not a boast. I will still come through, boy, and stop a nigga's post. Play him close, man, air will ease it. Quickly off the waistband, man, and air will squeeze it. Leave you niggas laid out dead or paraplegic. Niggas playing in these streets while I'm very strategic. I come to your house dressed like the gas man. Shoot you 9 times, leave you stretched by the trash can. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing key zaps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with the 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing key zaps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. I don't put shit on Facebook, I just holler in person. Put the pistol in your mouth while you hollering in cursing. All that shit you kept rehearsing and put on your live, got your clap with the big 4-5. You bitch nigga, if you tell me to pull up, I'ma do that. That nigga who was whooping first nigga that I shoot at. Ski mask on my face, bystanders be like, who that? I ain't with the talking, bitch boy, I thought you knew that. Leave his brains where my shoe at and bounce like I'm on a trampoline. Leave you laid out, nigga, like you camping on the scene. If you want something sweet, grab a peach or tangerine. Niggas won't smoke, well fuck it, I'ma let them handle steam. AR with the beam, you see the red dot? We tug on this trigger, nigga, it'll make your head pop. Blood pouring down to your shoes, call it Red Sox. Your brains hanging all over your shoulders like some dreadlocks. Expect the gang of dead off if they ever cross the line. The Lord said in the Bible, oh, revenge is mine. So I'm just trying to find a righteous path between the two. Before I lose control and do the shit I used to do. This being humble shit is new. I'm trying to turn the other cheek, but I ain't never been a bitch, so watch your mouth when you speak. Your mercy's what I seek, so I pray on bended knees. Don't let me get the K with the extended clip and squeeze. Lord, please. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride, 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing key zaps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps. Dear God, please don't let me relapse and return to the G-Ride with 3 straps, ski mask with the case, squeezing key zaps, spraying everything from a nigga's brain to his kneecaps.
What's going on, everybody? Happy Thursday afternoon. Happy Thursday evening to everybody that's out there, man. How's everybody doing? Hope you're doing swelling fine. Thank you, Sister Annie, for putting me up on misspelling Polight's name. Thank you. Appreciate you, girl. I was just in time to be able to change that around. Thank you, sis. But first thing first we're going to do is, man, we're going to take care of the business. Shout out to Brother Eric. Brother Eric is a good dude, man. Go over there, check him out at 16 of Life, or better known as Chill, better known as 16 to Life. But Brother Eric's a good dude, man. Go check him out at his page over there, 16 to Life. A lot of funny stories. Brother Eric did 24 years straight time out here in California, man. He was supposed to do life, but he got some sense in his head, man. And he started reading up on how to talk to the parole board like he had some sense, man. And he hit the bricks, man. So shout out to Brother Eric, man. Plus he's a good dude, very smart, very intelligent brother, man. Very talented brother. Let's go over there, check him out, man. Subscribe to him. Page is blowing up, man. Blowing up, man. So shout out to Brother Eric, man. He gave us the song, let us use it either. For the opening. So shout out to Brother Eric, man. Glad to thank you, brother, and hope all is well with you and your family. All right, that's Brother Eric, man. I'm gonna pull Brother Eric down. Trying to get my voice back, y'all. I've been talking all day, man, out there running around at Wake. So I was running around today, man. Y'all see the title of the show. We're gonna talk about Brother Polight, man. Brother Polight has gotten himself in some legal trouble here, and we're gonna see what he's gonna do. I think he goes to court tomorrow, so we're gonna see. And but it's a lot of people don't know about Polight, right? They don't know. They remember when Polight used to be all over the Black YouTube, right? He used to be all over Black YouTube. He was kind of like Kevin Samuels before Kevin Samuels. He was everywhere, right? And he was making a ton of money selling his books. I think he said he got some like 80 books that he published, self-published. And he was selling all these books and everything, man. He was making a ton of money at one time. So I don't know where he's at now, man. Don't look like he's as affluent anymore. But he's been through some trials and tribulations, man. But we're gonna just take a slow walk and kind of look at Polight and if this stuff is true, that what he did, what it claims, that the people claim what he did to this girl, to this baby, I think he should get the full extent of the law. The book thrown at him. But if he's innocent, but it's hard to make a case for his innocence, right? Hard to make a case for his innocence at this point. But let's see, man. We got to ride it out and see what's happening, man. Tomorrow he goes to court, so we'll see what he's gonna do. He's made claims over and over again. I'm not going to plead. I'm not going to plead. I'm not going to plead. I had some coleslaw on my mouth. I'm not going to plead. I'm not going to, no way. I'm not going to let them win. I'm not going to plead. Now, looks like they kind of got him between a rock and a hard place, and either you plead or. We're gonna talk about how people can, the door is open for you can take your true believers, if they true believers in you and they like you and they feel in you, they might close their eyes to some things that you might be doing that's out of pocket. We're gonna talk about that today. First thing, let me check everybody in who wants to be checked in. First of all, let me check in Sister Annie. Shout out my tour Sister Annie. Glad to have you in the building. Excuse me. I'm coming up there. Y'all talking about the word? I'm coming up there, right? Shout out to my little sister Annie. Glad to have you in the building, sis. She put me up on she said, Clarence, you misspelled Polight's name. I said, oh man, no. I had to go back and fix that. But shout out to man, I got people around me, man. They ain't afraid to correct me, man. So I shout out to them, man. Appreciate it. See, it makes everything work better. I love it. I have no problem with that at all. But Sister Annie say, hey man, you gotta fix that, Clarence, because gonna be bad for the algorithm, man. You're gonna do all that work and it's gonna, not follow, not get the right views and everything because you misspelled the brother's name. So just spell the brother's name right. So shout out to Sister Annie, keeping me on the porch. She tried to get me to do right. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't. I'm working on it. She know it. I'm working on it. She know my heart. I'm trying to be good most of the time, right? Shout out to Sister Annie. Glad to have you. The builder says, what about our brother, my other Taurus brother? Sister Annie is my Taurus sister, and Brother Anderson the Great is my Taurus brother. You know, y'all know I don't mess with these Tauruses, man. I do not mess with Tauruses, man. I leave them alone. I leave them alone, man. There's one people. If I find out you're a Taurus, man, I'm gonna put the kid gloves on, man. Like, okay, because I know Tauruses, man. But shout out to my Taurus brother, Taurus sister. Shout out to Brother Anderson the Great, man. He said we black again as always, man. Shout out to you, Brother Anderson. Good to see you in the house, brother. Good to see you as always, as always. You know, Brother Anderson came up here one time, man. One time we was raising money. He came up here. Shout out to Brother Anderson, man. Good brother. Good brother. Who else in the building? Brother Vaughn. Brother Vaughn Bryant. Excuse me. Brother Vaughn Bryant is in the building. Shout out to Brother Vaughn. He says, greetings, peace, joy, and many blessings. Now, that's the way you enter a room, right? That's the way you enter a room, right? Shout out to Vaughn, man. Good to see you. Good to have you in the building, my brother. My brother. All right. Who else in the building? Who else in the building? I think that's everybody who wants to be acknowledged right now. Okay, I got a couple people in the yeah, man. There's a lot you're gonna learn about Polight today, Vaughn. A lot you're gonna learn about Polight today that you may not have known already. If you don't know the backstory for Brother Polight, there's a lot you're probably gonna pick up today, man. Because we're not gonna go through we're not gonna micro dissect the guy's life. We're gonna just kind of give you some ballpark understandings of where he came from, how he got to the level that he's at, and what went wrong, what happened, charges, what's going on there. So anyway, we're gonna start with that. I forgot to send you guys these links, man, because I got to get Patrice up here too. So, but how did everybody's day today? Before we get started, y'all, how did everybody's day go today, man? I hope all you guys had a great day. I hope you guys had a great day, man. I mean, I hope, in all your running around that you was able to do, you was able to thank the God in heaven, man, for giving you another chance to get this thing right, man. I hope we remember. I hope we remember this beautiful God of the universe, man, because he don't have no obligation to us. We have the obligation to him. He does what he does out of sheer mercy. We doing what we should be doing, not out of just love, but out of just respect and honor, man. It's how do you thank the person that's giving you life? How do you thank that person? how do you say thanks every time you inhale? You say thank you, right? But look, this God is so merciful, man. You don't even have to do all that, man. He ain't even gonna make you. He ain't gonna even make you do all that, right? He's not even gonna make you, right? You could just sit back and just breathe in, and he's just gonna say, "Mm-hmm." But he'll hear you. He'll hear you. If you send out a thank you, send out a prayer, right? Send up a prayer. It don't have to be no long drawn out, you got to come in and sit down and you got to come to the temple. This is the temple right here. This is the temple. You go to the temple and you pray, right? Thank to God in heaven, man, for allowing us to be able to breathe. And even though we might have some type of affliction or we might have some type of situation, we can always strive to get it right, right? Vaughn says, pride, optimism, love, integrity. Well, I don't know about the integrity part. Gallantry, I don't know about the gallantry. Honesty, woo. Vaughn, no. No. I see at least 3 things in there that are definite no-nos for Polight. Allegedly, according to the community, there are definite no-nos, right? But we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it, man. So, all right, y'all. I sent everything out, so whoever got the links. But Patrice is supposed to come up here and discuss this story with me too, because she has, I guess, some deeper information than I do, right? Vaughn said, and trust. I missed that one. Yeah, that's another one. We gonna go through it, man. We're gonna go through a little bit, man. We don't have time to go through everything about Polight, but we're gonna scratch the surface here and just give a couple of different things, man. So shout out to everybody, man. There's my sister, OG Patrice, man. Shout out to her. Give her some time to come up here. Anyway, so I'm gonna get started, Patrice, and you just jump in when you get a chance, man. I'm probably driving home or on the way home. So when Patrice get a chance, she'll check in. All right, y'all. So who is Brother Polight? Who is Polight? Where'd he come from? Who is this dude? Right? What's he doing now? He's out here in LA, man. Last I checked, he's out here in LA, living a high life, man, doing whatever he can do. Getting money how he gets it. I don't know how that is. I don't know what exactly he does to get money, but I know some of the stuff that has been alleged that he has done has not been kosher, right? Has not been kosher, allegedly, right? So we're gonna take a look at that. But who is Polight? Okay, so let me get out of the quick version of. So Polight was a troubled kid, right? I don't think he barely knew his mom. I think he barely knew his mother and his father. I think the mother was dealing drugs and the father was definitely dealing drugs. So he never really got a chance to know them. I think he met one of them on their deathbeds. Either the mother or the father. He met him on the deathbed, and that was his interaction with that parent. So he was raised by his grandparents, according to him, raised by his grandparents, and they didn't have too tight of a hand on him because they were older. When you older, man, you like, man, I just need to sit down. I can't be watching this kid every 5 minutes, right? So, especially when they get to their teenage years, especially boys, they just let them go, man. They just like, you going to school, you're not, right? Man, but it depends on how involved you are. But anyway, so he had a little troubled youth, right? So he ends up hanging out on the street, and he allegedly joins the Crips out there in New York, right? Now, I didn't even know they had Crip sets out in New York, but we're gonna watch a little bit of a Vlad TV interview, just a little bit of it, where he's talking about how he beat these 2 murder cases, and he ended up walking away from the gangs. So let's take a look at that, and we can get some insight and see a little bit about Polight. Now, I'm getting to it. I'm getting to how he got in with Dr. York. So he leaves. He some kind of way connects up with Dr. York. Now, Dr. Malachi Z. York, right? The leader of the Nuwabians, right? And so Dr. York ended up becoming his mentor. Now, Dr. York had his own set of challenges, right? He had his own set of challenges that but looked like Polight, Polight learned a lot from him. But man, man, Dr. York, unfortunately, man, had a started out with, and all of these guys start out with a good premise. They all start out with a good premise. Hey, we want to educate black people. We want to have, create black commerce and, clean up the black community. They all start out with the same, premise to get black people more involved, right? So anyway, right now he's talking about he was in a gang, and obviously they were selling drugs, and he was supposed to control the activity in the buildings, one of the buildings, and he was there was some discrepancies about whether the children or the other community members of the gang were going to allow him to take on that role, and someone got shot. He obviously beat those cases because obviously he's not the one that actually pulled the trigger or did anything like that, allegedly, right? But so just giving you the idea, seeing you where he was at. His head was, he was in the gangs. He was in the gang culture. Then he got into the Nubian culture. So now he's kind of between both, between doing both things, right? Okay, we're going to go back. So, but when he say his teacher, he's talking about Dr. York. See, man, I'm telling you, man, sounds good, right? This is probably what, I don't know, maybe 6-7 years ago. Sounds good. Yeah, we want black people to do better. They always come with some kind of, they always have some kind of doctrine of we're going to do things to help, right? That's our intention, is to help the community. But man, sometimes, man, you gotta have an eye. That's why you gotta keep fixed on God's word. Because even though you have a person like this that's saying all the right buzzwords, you'll know, your spirit gonna let you know something faulty here. Something's faulty. You can't be talking about one thing and then doing something else. That's hypocrisy, right? That's hypocrisy. We gotta, if we talking one way, we gotta be walking that way, right? Or at least trying our best to walk that way, right? And we just, unfortunately, man, this brother, as intelligent as he is, I think that he kind of took advantage of the desire of so many black people to try to build something within the community, that he was able to take advantage of that, and instead of educating them on stuff that could really help them, he started selling them information that was outdated, that didn't apply, that, is only works if you can enforce it. A lot of this sovereign citizens type stuff is only works if you can enforce it. If you can't enforce it, then how are you gonna make it work, right? Especially when you go to court, right? When you go to court, you got to come correct, man. So anyway, I know since then I looked at those eyes, I said, ooh, but this is back in happier times when he was still talking about how he was trying to help the black community, and that's what he wanted to do. And that's when he was singing that song back then. We're not talking about now. Of course, he stopped singing that song about about 4 or 5 years ago. He stopped singing that song. He started singing the whole "Get money, get money, get money" song, right? But we'll get there. So this is Polight on Vlad. So, but let's take a look at how so eventually Polight gets he walks away from the gang lifestyle, gangs. I don't know if he was in multiple gangs. I think he was just in the one gang. And eventually he walks away from the gang lifestyle and he enters into the Nuwaubian community, right? The Nuwaubian community, all black community down there in Atlanta. They had, I don't know, maybe about 50 or 60 acres. I don't know, I could be wrong, but they had a lot of land and they built, they had a compound basically. And the people would go there and listen to Dr. York's lectures, and a lot of other stuff was going on there. Unfortunately. But anyway, so he comes into contact with Dr. York. I think he hooked up with Dr. York in New York when Dr. York was still in New York. I think that's when he hooked up with Dr. York. And then Dr. York, of course, bought the property down there in Atlanta and in Georgia, excuse me. I don't know if it was Atlanta, but in Georgia, he bought the property. And so they moved everything down there and moved everything because I think the state of either New Jersey or New York was about to throw some charges at him. So he left, right? But anyway, that's another story. Dr. York is another story. We'll get to Dr. York in a minute. But I want you to see where Polight started. Now, Polight started on the streets of New York, right? In New York, there's a street called 125th Street where, you know, a lot of black people just put their wares out there. They go out there, and because of the, so much traffic, you can just sit out there and sell your stuff out there on the street, right? I don't know if you have to have a vendor's license or anything like that. So brothers would go there, and then, of course, at certain booths or certain setups, they will have these little ciphers, right? So Polight got his start recording himself doing these little ciphers, right? So we're gonna take a look at Polight doing one of these ciphers, running one of these ciphers, man, and see, let me see. Here we go. Okay, yeah, we're gonna see Polight. And he's gonna be running one of these ciphers, man, trying to get that info out there. You know what I mean? Let's see. Here we go. Okay, this is Polight and the crew.
Comes responsibility. What? All right, hold up, y'all. Hold up.
This is the issue. We have to understand what we're trying to accomplish when we say that which we say. When I say stop blaming this white man, our people got to take the time to assimilate what the man that's conveying the message means and represents, because you're not looking at a dude that's out here on the sneaker line just saying, I'm gonna buy some sneakers, so let's not blame white folks. So we have to stop and say, let me think about the working mind that's making this message, because if he says something and I say something, he says something, one of these brothers say something, it's all the same thing in words, we may have a different rationale. So when I say stop blaming the white man, you must know I'm not telling you throw away your history. You must know I'm not declining from the fact that a white supremacy does exist. I'm not declining from that. What I'm telling you is this: the same thing that's going on right now is what's been going on for years. The blame game. So now I said this: we've been blaming white people for the last 30 years extended?
More than that.
And look, the situation is still fucked up. So maybe we should change the direction of the blame. Now look, when we hold ourselves accountable for the situation, let's just say on a man level, let's move the women out real quick. No offense to the women out there before they start that shit. You know what I'm saying? No offense. I don't mean to be undermining. But let's just say we as men had so much pride and integrity about us being men that we say, man, I'm not about to let my children or my whiz hear me saying that the reason why I'm incapacitated or stagnated right now is because this white man is on my neck. You know what? We're going to boss up. I'm not going to teach my daughter that the reason why I couldn't make things happen in this world, in this lifetime, is because someone that's genetically inferior in contrast to me got something over me. So what I'm telling brothers and sisters, we can argue over who created the situation. I want to know, other than what we projecting, because I came out here to project what we have to offer. That's what I came out here to do. I ain't come out here to point the finger at who's the one that caused this problem. I came out here to say, look, we got an answer to the problem. Now, what I do as a man to other men is I challenge other men to either work in harmony with us to diffuse this problem, put the shit aside over if white supremacy exists or not. We all know white supremacy does exist. I know what it means and represents, but that still don't deny the fact that we as black men have a huge responsibility in our community because our children and our women don't respect us because we don't provide jobs for them. We don't provide spirituality for them. When our women go to church and all those other places, God, in the form of a white man, promised them heaven. When they go to work, the white man promises them a check to sustain themselves. When they go to school, he promises them an education and you get certified, you can thrive in society. Now, when I come home and I say, where you been? What the fuck you mean where I've been? She can't respect me. You know why? Because every facet of her life is orientated around making subscriptions to the will and pleasure of the white man.
Oh, sound good, huh? Sound good, huh? Now this is Polight after he had gotten some what do you call that? Some teaching from Dr. York, right? This is it. This is Polight now. He done switched gears, right? No longer crip banging, but now he's like, hey, I'm for the Lord, as Vaughn would say, for the Lord, right? And now he's trying to, sound good. Hey, we for the community. We want the community to grow. We want to, everything. We're gonna stop blaming the white man. We're gonna pick up our own cross and carry it ourselves, right? We're gonna go where we're gonna make our own sacrifice to get ourselves up out of the situation. Stop waiting on the government to do it, right? Sound good. Sound good. Let's see a little bit. Let's see a little more, because so far so good. Now I'm trying to figure out, where do we go wrong? Now this, I got to tell y'all, got to be fair with y'all. This is probably about 7 or 8 years ago, probably even not more than that, probably about 10 years ago. I would think, let's see, let me see, let me double check. Yeah, about 10 years ago, I would say that. Yeah, about 10 years ago, right? Okay, so we're going to listen to a little bit more Polight from Off the Corners, where he's teaching from his Nubian perspective, and sound good so far, man. Hitting all the points.
What we supposed to do at this time is not complain, and start bitching, white people did this, white people did that. Well, all I'm asking brothers to do, blame who you want to blame. But what I'm saying is this shit is a fucking disgrace. As black men, it's enough of us right now to put money together and build a fucking school and stop playing. That's what we do in our community. We buy land, we buy houses, we make sure that the men provide those houses for their women. Why? Because when that woman in a fucking house that she know her man bought, she feel a way about it. And when she know that that man is taking care of her children, she feel a way about it. Now we got the respect of our women. That's what we need to get through this shit. But we're not going to be any respectable form. We're not going to be in any respectable form if all they know is to do is break down doctrine about how the white man is oppressing us and he's the reason he's in your mind. He's the reason why your hair is straight. I'm God. So if I want my wives to have an afro, watch God have 4 wives with afros. Y'all already know. I'm God. So despite what white supremacy is saying about us, despite what white supremacy say, watch God turn around and buy all my wives a car that's real nice, and for what we call it, and buy them all a house. Now that don't mean shit to y'all, but it means something to me, because I'm saying despite white supremacy, despite racism, despite capitalism, you can't fucking stop God. That's what I'm saying. So if
whoa, sound good. Sound good, man. Who can't, man, where's the bad in that? Right? If God's with me, how can you stop me? Right? Right? Sounds good. Sounds good. So where did Polight get this information from? Where did he get so enlightened from? Huh? Where did he get so enlightened from? Let's take a look and see where Polight got all of this wisdom from. Right? Right? Let's see where he got all this wisdom from. Oh man, I had it and I just I'll put it to the side, man. Oh man, let's see. Let's see if I can catch it, man. Let me see if I can catch lightning in a bottle. Lightning in a bottle. Let me see if I can catch lightning in a bottle, man. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see. We can catch it, y'all. Let's see if we can catch it. Can Brother Clarence catch lightning in a bottle? Can he do it? 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 He did it. He did it. He did it. He done it. All right, let's see. Let's see. Let's give you a little clip of Dr. York, man. A little short clip of Dr. York. And then we're gonna play a little interview from Dr. York. But this is Polight's mentor.
Right from wrong, wrong can't get you. Once you know right knowledge from wrong knowledge, no one can teach you wrong knowledge anymore. Once you know good from bad, you know how to act, fool. But now we done forgot good from bad, so we don't know how to act. We don't know how to treat people. We don't have no contact with the universe, and we're wondering why every time we gather it rains. It rains because though I'm standing there telling you you have a link to that sun, you don't really want to believe me. You still want to believe in spookism. You still want to worship the word of Allah. You walk up and say, man, he's turning us away from the worship of Allah. Somebody stop you and say, who is Allah? What is Allah? A word. Christianity puts that in St. John chapter 1. In the beginning was a word. What the word mean? Is what I want to know. Okay, we got back. They said the word means Jesus. Logos.
All right, that was Brother Dr. York. Now I'm gonna play this is Dr. York's this is one of his many clips, and he started out the same way, man. Good intentions, good philosophy, good moral agenda. They all start out the same. But what happens? What happens? At some point along the line, the depravity creeps in, right? And if they don't have a close enough connection to God, man, anybody can sound the alarm, brother. Anybody can sound the alarm, but everybody can't guard the women and children. You need a special group to guard the women and children, brother. Everybody can't guard the women and children. There's some men, they made just to fight. They made just to go out on that battlefield and lop off heads. They were born to just lop heads off. And there were some men that was born just to teach. They was just born to teach, right? Everything else, they're so knowledgeable about there's some things they can't even do. They can't even cook a piece of toast because they just don't have. They so focused on teaching God's word, they can't even. If they had to go a whole day by themselves doing stuff, they wouldn't even know what to do. But they sincere. They have integrity. They all start out with integrity. Dr. York, Polight, a bunch of other people that lost their way, right? Some people say, well, Dr. York didn't lose their way. By the way, Dr. York is doing 135 years in federal prison right now for child molestation, with child MOS, right? MOL, rather, right? Well, Clarence, you don't know that he might not be guilty. I don't know. It's a lot of evidence that suggests otherwise. A lot of evidence that suggests otherwise. And on top of that, him pleading guilty. I mean, I'm willing to go with it. I'm even willing to do this for Polight. I'm willing to say everybody's innocent until proven guilty. But if you plead to it, then you saying I did it, right? Oh, Clarence, they just made him do that. No, they can't make you do it. If they was going to throw 135 years at him, they was going to throw 135 years at him anyway. He didn't have to plead. What difference does it make? I think he had his reasons for why he did it. I don't know. Without speaking to him, I don't know. But the point is, a lot of those claims that of the stuff that he had did with a lot of these kids pretty much backed up with witness testimony and his own pleading guilty to it. But that's Dr. York. He started off very good. He started off very good with a very good purpose, with a very good moral stance, very good. What happened? So what happened? Because kind of the same thing's going to happen to Polight, right? What happens is you get so much power. Shout out to New Growth, by the way. Glad to have you in the building, my brother. You get so much power and you get so much, the people are coming at you. If you're not rooted in righteousness or have your peg so far down in righteousness, ought to take a little slip here. Jim Jones, just a little slip here, little slip there, little slip here, little slip there. Next thing you know, you way across the desert. You're like, how did I get way over here? How did you get way over there? So unfortunately, Dr. York had a good program, good philosophy in the beginning, right? At some point, it got corrupted. And it might have been because he had his own issues that he had to deal with. But he was never able to be held accountable. See, when you get to a certain place, now nobody's trying to hold you accountable. Right? You can never get to the place where you feel like nobody can hold me accountable. I'm above being held accountable. Because when you get to that point, this kind of thing can happen. The devils can come into you, the demons can come into you and regulate how you think. Oh, here you go with these demons again, Clarence. I'm going to definitely tell you about these demons. As a person who was demon possessed at one point, I can definitely tell you these demons. And they'll, oh, Clarence, so you saying these demons talk to you? They don't talk to you in English. They use electricity and pressure to get you to do what they want you to do. They put pressure on when they see a thought. They push a thought that they want you to perform an act, some type of crazy thinking process. They see you have a thought like that. They see the electricity coming off of that thought. They push it to the front of your head. The demon in you, push it to the front of your head. Now you're thinking about this thing that you would normally not think about. You would normally not give it a second thought. So what the demons do, demons can control the electrical conductivity in your brain. So they're going to use pressure and electricity, right? When they want you to do something, they put pressure on you. They put the thought in your head, and they put pressure on your head. And whenever you think about doing that thing, they release the pressure to teach you, hey, if I go ahead and do this thing, I'll get some relief. Y'all don't hear me, man. Y'all don't hear me, man. Oh, but Clarence, what you talking about? I'm talking about real. I'm talking about saving your life. I'm talking about pulling you out the fire. I'm talking about pulling us out the fire, man. And we don't get these concepts, even if you don't agree with me, at least think it over. Think it over. So, Clarence, I don't exactly agree with you, but I could consider what you're talking about. I'll put that back there just in case something come up where I can apply this. I'm not sharing this with you because I know a bunch of stuff. I got bumps on my head. How you think I got this wisdom from reading and knowledge? got this wisdom from bumps on my head, man. But anyway, this is Dr. York. Now we're gonna what I'm gonna do now is play a little interview that somebody interviewed Dr. York, man, one of his followers. I wonder how that interview is gonna go, right? Nice, soft like a hoagie sandwich, right? We gonna see. But like I said, Dr. York, he started off, had a good plan, man, had a good, he had a good philosophy at that time. Unfortunately, stuff was festering behind the scenes, man.
Georgia, and we have with us the Imperial Grand Potentate himself, Dr. Malachi Z. York, the man that has made it possible for the Nubian nation to be established throughout the world. He has touched many hearts and has opened many minds to the truth. So without further ado, here's Dr. Malachi Z. York. Just a few questions.
Sure.
And first of all, to say thank you for making it possible for me to be here and to know as much as I do know at this time.
Just doing my job.
All right. I want to say congratulations on your new title as Imperial Grand Potentate. Can you tell me what it means to us as Nubian people?
I wouldn't say it means anything as to Nawapian people per se, but in the Masonic world, after you finish traveling, if you make the decision that you want to go over into the shrine and cross that desert, then you do that. If you want to stay there and climb higher and higher, then you'll take on different titles, depending on what you do for the shrine. And the people, I'm more concerned with the Afro Masonic lodges and the Afro shrine, because there is a split in Freemasonry between the whites and the blacks. And they have the whites have blacks pledging to them, when in actuality, the first Freemason was Nimrod, son of Cush, Ethiopian, and they should be getting their charters from us. So I'm barely here to set the record straight. And I think it's time for Freemasons, I think it's time for us to come forward, because we're getting a bad name because of things that Caucasian Masons are doing, like Albert Pike and Albert Mackey and them, with their books Moral Dogma, where they give praise to Lucifer. And now Freemasons worldwide are being thought of as satanic and all that. And I think it's time for us to step up and let people know what we allow.
Okay. What do y'all think? What do y'all think? Now he's going in. Now Dr. York going in on Freemasons, right? He said, well, not going in, but he's going in on the Caucasian Freemasons, saying that they kind of ripped off some of the stuff from the original Masons, right? Right, the original Freemasons, right? I'm telling y'all, man, Dr. York, man, he had a lot of game, a lot of wisdom, just like Polight. If you notice, they're very similar. They have a lot of insight on a lot of information. And so with that information, they're able to sway the people, man. And the people just accept what they say. They don't go back and check what they say. They just accept it, right? But like I said, Dr. York had years of telling the truth. He had years of, being faithful. He had years, right? When the stuff started really going down, it really started going down in Georgia. It was some going down in New York, but it was really going. It was getting off. It got off the hook in Georgia, right? But this is Polight's teacher. Polight's teacher. He's doing 135 years in federal prison right now for dealing the kids. Let's just say it like that. So now we get a kind of idea where Polight may have gotten the idea that it'll be okay to diddle prepubescent children. Maybe. Allegedly. I don't know. Can't. Now, Dr. York pled guilty to it, so he said he did it. He said he did it. So that's not alleged there. He said he did it. But Polight, we'll see. Tomorrow he's supposed to plead, right? Tomorrow he's supposed to plead. Now, how did Polight get as much notoriety as he got? Well, like you said, like we saw, he was out there on the corners, right? And he would go out to the corners and debate people. He would debate Christians. He would debate Muslims. He would debate Hebrew Israelites. He would debate them, right? He would just debate everybody. And, and he like Dr. York, very intelligent young man. He was able to, hold his own most of the time, right? I'm not saying he won or lost. I can't say any of that, but definitely a very intelligent young man. So how do we get to where we at now? How did we get here? How did we get here? Well, let me see. There's a couple other things I want to see. Oh, okay. So now, when all these charges came up with Dr. York, and all of these people came out, right? All of the girls, the young boys came out and said, Dr. York did this XYZ to me, right? Now, a lot of the true believers was like, y'all lying, right? And Polight, who was, I'd say he was in the inner circle, right? Based on him. I wasn't there, I don't know, but based on the way he talks, I would think that he was in the inner circle, right? What's the inner circle, Clarence? I mean, the inner circle of people that could have a one-on-one conversations with Dr. York, right? Who could routinely have one-on-one conversations with him. I believe Polight was probably in that circle, right? So when Polight finds out about these charges, watch what he's going to say. Now he's going to defend Dr. York. He's going to defend Dr. York. A young man is going to explain to him, hey, Polight, this is what happened. This is what happened to me, right? This is what happened to my sisters. But Polight is going to say, well, why are you blaming Dr. York? Ay, 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 ay. All right, here's Polight, and here's a young brother that's going to explain to him what his situation.
Testify, or that testified.
He testified based on what that he did do something to him.
Well, I say had to testify because some people didn't testify. So some people felt it in that they had to do this, like it's something that they had to do. For me, it felt like it was something that I had to do, because one, like I told you, both of my sisters went through the same thing I went through. And both of my older sisters.
Do you mind sharing? I don't know nothing.
Sharing what? Okay, well, both of my sisters have been molested.
By who?
By Malachi York. By Pops, Barbara, Esau, Mom Esau, whatever. He has sex with them. And
At what ages?
At what ages? I mean, if you want to get the accurate number, you can ask them.
Around what age?
I mean, 13, 14, 7, 8. And I will only speak for myself as far as the personal thing that I've been through.
Of course,
as far as and I don't want to get graphic. One, okay, I'm a dude. I'm not gonna be walking around saying that I've been molested. This, and that happened. As a man, you don't want to be going around saying that.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So when in my situation or the way I grew up, I was ready to move on. I left in 2001. I was ready to just live my life, move on, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The people started doing the investigations and stuff. The FBI started doing the investigations, started trying to get statements from people. Both my sisters went ahead and gave their statements.
Yeah.
I still had nothing to do with it. No statement, no nothing. When I realized, okay, they're about to go to court, and I went through the same thing that they went through. Like, I'm my mother's only son. You know what I'm saying? So I'm the man of the family. You know what I'm saying? My sisters were going to stand up for themselves, and I.
All right. Unfortunately, this young man was diddled by Dr. York. And he's breaking that down, man. Imagine have to tell another man that you was molested. I mean, it's absolutely probably one of the hardest things to ever do for a man. I know women do it a lot too, and it's bad for anybody that has to relive something like that. It's terrible, right? But here this young man is explaining to Polight, hey, this actually happened. This ain't no joke. The FBI didn't put us up to this. I'm telling you what actually happened to me, right? Now watch how Polight is going to respond to this guy.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, okay, well, and then that's when I gave my statement, and that's when I decided that that I was gonna go ahead and do it. Nobody wants to see they family go get locked away. So I really understand how hard it is for people that's deeply involved in it also. And people gotta understand, I was born and raised in it too. So I understand from inside out also what it feels like not to have this person around still giving leadership. So it's not no stranger, no random person that's saying, oh, this happened. I mean, this stuff, like, I was 7 years old. You know what I'm saying? I was upstate New York after Brooklyn. Upstate New York when he first, touched me or whatever, in molested, And so from 7 to 14, 7 years that I went through this. You know what I'm saying? And that's my story.
Would you say there's been over 20 children molested by Dr. York?
I would say so. I mean, I would say that it was, if I could confirm people that I could strongly confirm, it'll be about 15 or 20 people.
Obviously, if over 15 to 20 children were being molested, we have to now say, how come the adults wasn't saying nothing? Shouldn't they be locked up with Dr. York too? How come they're free to?
Did you hear what Polight just said? Did you guys hear what Polight just said? He said he went to the victim and said, how come your family ain't locked up with him? Now, the young man's going to say, well, Dr. York separated everybody. We wasn't even around our parents anymore. Jim Jones, same thing, right? You don't have no mama. I'm your father, right? You know what Jim Jones did? The first thing they did when they got to Guyana? He said, bring all your Bibles here. Brought the Bibles, threw them in a big pile, lit them all on fire. He said, this book is over. Right? This book is over. We're going to create our own book here. See, they start off with a good message. That's how they can get you. But see, you have to always be running a check on everything they're doing, just to make sure they staying on track. Now, instead of him saying, man, he did that to you, he should burn in hell for doing that to you, right? Instead, he's trying to get other people involved with the situation, right? We ain't talking about adults. We talking about kids, man. We talking about kids. All right, but let me let y'all hear Polight for itself, man, because I don't want to put no words in Polight's mouth. Let me let you hear him for yourself.
Testify about it.
You understand the adults were separated from their children. So you had the girls in one house, the boys in one house, the women in one place, the brothers in one place. Everybody was separated. So it wasn't no house with a family, and then you could recognize when your child is gone.
You mean to tell the world that none of these children had enough sense in their mind to go tell their parent that this isn't right? I've been touched sexually. I've been sexually abused. Not one child.
Okay. This is the second deflection. The first deflection is the parents need to be locked up with Dr. York, right? Not Dr. York should burn in hell, right? Not like Dr. Khalid Muhammad. He's a man, you need to kill him, bring him back, and kill him again. And they say, why? He said, because they didn't die hard enough, right? He should be like, hey, Dr. York didn't die hard enough, right? We need to kill him and bring him back and kill him again because he didn't die hard enough, right? But is that what Polight's saying? No. Now, I think he would have a different viewpoint if it was one of his daughters or his son that got you know, in an entanglement or got had some prime situation going on with his child with Dr. York, I think he would have had a different outlook on the situation. Obviously, right? But how do you defend somebody that's done something like this? See, this is the indefensible. Yet, here he is, deflecting again. Now, this is the second deflection. 6, 7, 8-year-old kids are supposed to go and tell on the person that they are looking at as basically God. And that person is telling them, I'm over your parent. You think the child wants to create conflict with God, between God and their parents? Especially ones that came up in that organization, right? He knows this. Polight knows this. But he's very intelligent, man. He's trying to make it seem like, you know, there's some kind of way to defend Dr. York, or that the parents are more responsible than him, when the focus should absolutely 100% be on Dr. York, not the parents. Man, I'm telling you, you can be with your children every day. I tell y'all all the time. I tell y'all see me, we do the hit parade over here, right? I show y'all stories, man. You can parent your kid. You can be, unless you see, here's the thing, man. Unless you side by side with your kid in every activity they doing, you don't know what they doing. You don't know what they doing. They could be doing this about anything, right? You could raise them good. You can teach them right from wrong. You could punish them when they're wrong. You could, you know, be the best parent in the world to them. Man, if a kid wants to do wrong, they're gonna do it. I don't care how good you taught a kid. If they want to be caught up in some drama, they're gonna go out there and get caught up in some drama. Not nothing you could do about it. Anyway, this is Polight, who is on the right. His second deflection from Dr. York, instead of saying Dr. York is a piece of crap for doing that to you, man, I'm very sorry for that happening. Maybe he'll do it later in the video. I don't know, but I don't think he did. But instead of saying, man, you know, Dr. York's a piece of crap for doing that to you, he's going to say, why ain't none of these kids go back and tell their parents? You know why. You know how that compound was set up. It was set up to separate kids from their parents, especially and particularly the mother. Because the average kid is going to tell their mother if something like that's happening if they have a good relationship with the mother. But what kid is going to go tell they, if there's a man molesting them, and I have to use that word, if there's a man molesting them and these kids, and then it also in the kid's mind, this is a God himself in person here on the planet talking to me, spending time with me. And I'm helping him be able to do what he wants to do, even though this is something that I probably shouldn't be talking about. I'm not going to, and God told me not to talk about it. I'm not going to talk about it, even to my parents. But Polight knows this. Polight knows this. He's just trying to make a grandstand, trying to guess, hoping this video gets to Dr. York so he could say, oh yeah, well, one of my ace spoons, you know, was trying to defend me. There is no defense for this. There is no defense for this. Is there, Patrice? Patrice. Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Can you hear me?
Now
can you hear me? Okay, I'm sorry. I hadn't taken off mute. How are you?
I'm fine. How you doing, sis?
I'm doing all right. I had some errands to run, you know. Almost home, but yeah, I pulled over so because I know you going. So we're gonna talk about Brother Polight. I see you you know, you hitting a lot of points, right? Going back from his history with how, you know, where he started out with the whole Vlad thing. And I want to say Vlad Vlad flags people now. He strikes people for using his content, so be careful.
Okay, yes, ma'am, for sure.
Yeah, he definitely does that. So yeah, so even going back to his earlier days in New York of the game banging, he come from, Polite come from, of course, dysfunction, father not
Yeah,
there. I don't think he knew his father until he got like older in
right.
life. Yeah, and raised, I think, predominantly by his grandmother, and I think she was already up in age.
Yeah,
So, he, did a lot of street hustling,
right.
and he comes from that background and game banging and, the things that he was telling you about what he got caught up with that situation with that case. And
Yeah,
then later in life, a little bit later after that, meeting Dr. York and, being taught up under Dr. York's tutelage and that history, and that history is even, just as more toxic and drama and
yeah,
brainwashing. Dr. York definitely had a cult. It was a cult following, unfortunately, out there in Georgia. He had a lot of land, a lot of property out there in Georgia, but very heavily cult following. But he was doing some absolutely nefarious, criminal pedophilia things. Not
yeah.
only was he married to multiple women that he had children with, he started messing with, his own daughters. He started messing with
Oh
other people's
man.
daughters and sons, unfortunately. And he
Oh
started
man.
he started with these kids at a young age. You heard that young man, that because a lot of those kids were born on those acres of land that Dr. York
Yeah,
owned, right? So for children to be born into that, of course, there is an indoctrination, and it's so unfortunate. A lot of those kids are, out and about trying to get pick up the pieces of their life, right unto this day, but have to live with certain scars and things of that nature, like that young man and his siblings. And it's so funny. And I can't help but think myself that I'm gonna say allegedly, but I can't help to think for myself that Brother Polite was a victim himself. I really do
probably,
believe I do believe that.
probably,
I believe he was a victim by Dr. York and became a victimizer later in life. Unfortunately,
probably. Yeah,
that
that makes
happens
sense.
to that happens to a lot of them. They either become, these people that absolutely fight for children that have been, uh, S abused and in the M, by people, or either they become the victimizers themselves. Sometimes that happens, right?
Yeah,
And and it's unfortunate that I believe wholeheartedly that's what happened to Brother Polite here, and then wanting to create the same type of a similar type of cult following, if you will, as his predecessor, as Dr. York did. And
yeah,
then when that didn't work out, like you said, he ended up coming to California and became well, before he left New York, he became the scam artist. I mean, any kind of get rich quick scheme
we're
scam
gonna get into that,
that you
Patrice.
can
We're gonna get
name,
into that.
he would do that, So yeah, so and then moving from that to kind of being some like a pimp cult leader right out there in
Yeah,
California. Yeah, the harem of women. It's
yeah,
unfortunate.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, and what I was saying, Patrice, earlier was these guys all start off with a good message, right? They all
That's how
start
they
off with,
get you.
yeah, we're gonna do stuff for the black community. Even Jim Jones, man, we're gonna do stuff for the black community. He started up there in Sacramento. Yeah, we're gonna do good stuff. We're gonna do that. And they found out about little bits of stuff going on up there, and then he came down to LA, right? And they
It's
started
that
finding out.
whole, yeah, that whole cult brainwashing, that whole consciousness, they come with the consciousness, we need to unite, we are stronger together,
Right,
and
right.
this whole thing. And I think a lot of times now that's why a lot of people are so afraid to trust leaders and to trust, genuine people sometimes that really is meaning well about the consciousness and about Black people and uniting and things of that nature. But it's hard to trust leaders these days because of the Jim Joneses, because of the Brother Polight, because of the I forgot
Dr.
his name,
York.
Dr. Yorks, and the other one, it was another guy, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. It's been
Oh,
so
great
many
program he
these,
had.
yeah, these conscious people that, and I don't, and you know what, I don't even know if they, do you think they mean well in the beginning? I'm not sure. I just
Yeah,
think,
Patrice. They
I don't
always
know.
start off with a good. That's who got me
I
into
mean, they
not
start with the
smoking
good
with Yahweh Ben
message.
Yahweh.
They start with the good message, but I don't know. It gets convoluted and it
This is
gets
what happens.
perverted and it gets
This-
twisted
That's what happens,
and
Patrice.
it becomes something else.
This is
So
what
I
happens
don't know. Do they start out really being genuine, and
at
then
first.
because of the money and the fame and the
That's what happens.
and the notoriety, what happens?
That's what happens. See, when you see they start off and they're just like teaching a message, right? But there's still some little level of accountability, whether it's like a little council or a group of people that can talk to them. But as they start moving up in stature and prominence, that little they start distancing themselves from anybody that can hold them accountable for anything they do. Now, at a certain point, there is nobody that can hold them accountable, right? They're like God, right? Who holds God accountable? They feel like they're God. They feel like they're like God, right? So nobody can hold me accountable. So if I can do, now I can do whatever I desire. At first, I was doing what I thought was right for the movement, but now I can do what I desire to do. If I don't desire to do this or that, the people ain't gonna think nothing of it because they so they're such zealots uh, for what I'm talking about. They just gonna go with it no matter what I say, and that's where the twist comes. That's where it gets turned when they start doing that, and then before you know it, they take a little liberties. Well, I'm just going to take $500 out the pot. Well, I'm just going to take 10,000 out the pot. Well, I'm just going to take $500,000 out the pot. Well, I'm just going to sleep with this man's wife. Well, I'm just going to sleep with this man's son. Well, I'm just going to do, and the next thing you know, they're all over the road. They're all over the road. I mean, that's any of these type of guys. Once they get to a certain level of prominence, and they remove the circle of people that actually was able to hold them accountable. Hey, bro, what you doing? You know you can't do this. You know this is not right. They remove those people, and those people are gone now. Oh, that's why I'm always telling everybody to read this book, The Epic of Gilgamesh. Read that book, man. Holy smokes! You want to see somebody who was just not accountable, and he just was off the hook, right? So this is where these guys get this stuff from, because in the book of the Epic of Gilgamesh, this king, he was the best looking king, he was the strongest, he was the fastest, he was the best looking, he was the best at everything. And so he had this moment of self-realization that nobody can stop me. Nobody can stop me from doing whatever I want to do.
Well, I think that's a God complex that they get, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
get the big head and they get a God complex. I mean, at one time that Yahweh Ben Yahweh guy was calling himself the Messiah. Most of them do. Most of them always come and end up saying they some kind of Messiah or some kind of prophet or whatever, even the Caucasian cult leaders. But every last one of them has that history of some form of perversion and pedophilia within
Just
the code. It, it, it I mean,
it's terrible, but because they get to a certain point where, like I said, there's nobody holds them accountable for anything, no matter what they say. If they say, brother, I want your wife here, she's going to help me write this essay tonight, right? The brother will send his wife. He don't even think about it. He just say, I'm just send my wife. Now, when the wife comes and they do whatever they do, obviously the person that's running the cult is going to say, don't say anything because it's going to
but
cause a problem, right? So
but
they
to
don't say
know, yeah, yeah, but to
nothing.
know that there is a level of that, of that being that weak in the mind because people are searching for something. People are searching for a savior and searching for a God. Instead of going to the true God, they look for
They don't
that,
know.
and they look for that in man, and then they truly actually believe, once they are so far gone and brainwashed, that that person was sent by God, and that person is next to God, or that person is a God, based off
Yeah.
of what this person is saying, the readings, the way of life they become accustomed to. Anytime any religious organization, and to me, all religions are some form of cult, in my humble opinion. And a lot of times you don't know that you're in it until you get out of it. You don't know you in a cult until you out of it, right? That's mostly most people that was ever in one. You couldn't tell them when they were in it, they were in a cult. They didn't realize it until they are out of the cult, that they were actually in a cult, if that makes sense,
Yeah. I mean,
right?
absolutely, absolutely,
Because I
absolutely.
think,
Well,
and the
culture.
reason, and I don't mean cult like people think I mean when I say all forms of religions. I mean when it comes to indoctrinations,
No, no, no.
because you know what I mean.
I'm gonna actually add to what you're saying.
Hmm.
The word cult is short for culture, right? There's a
Hmm.
culture, a way we do things in this religion.
Right.
There's a way we do
Right.
things in this religion. There's a way, and then in that religion, now we got this preacher that does it this way, right?
Exactly.
And then we got this preacher that does it that way, and then we got this person. So it's a multitude of different things that can happen, but one of these guys could catch fire, right? And they have a good message, good strong message.
Hmm.
Yahweh Ben Yahweh started out with a great message. Hey, I want black people to be on their own businesses. We're gonna shop
Yep,
black.
I
We're gonna get
remember.
black
I
money,
watched him a
right?
few times. I was like, okay, he
They
about
bought all
that
that
business,
property out there in Miami. They
all
bought
that
all this
property.
property.
Yep.
Yeah, same thing with
Owned a
Dr.
lot of
York.
businesses, and then next thing you
There
know,
you
they
go.
bringing them out in handcuffs. It's a couple of
There you go.
it's a couple of people got murked.
Yes, yes,
I remember that
yes,
being really big in the news, and I was like, here we
yeah,
go, another one. So I
yeah,
think that things like this has caused a lot of people to fall away from
yes,
religion, has caused a
yeah.
lot of people to fall away from being involved with any type of conscious leaders or things of that kind. I mean, because anytime you got people in the conscious community that is still rocking with Brother Polight, is still taking up for him, is still on sitting on platforms, talking about he innocent, or he's gonna take a plea, like that's good. I mean, if you have to take a plea, you're guilty of something. Like,
I mean,
seriously, or why would you take a plea?
that's what Dr.
But
York
when
did.
yeah, but you got people sitting here like not capping, but caping big time for Brother Polight right now on platforms right now on YouTube. You know what I'm talking about, right? Now, one of his main ones, and his relatives was heavily involved with the whole Polight thing, and he had a relative, which was an underage girl at the time, that had ran off. I think it was
Wow,
by marriage, but it was still his wife's niece had ran off and joined Brother Polight in the harem, right? And
wow.
when he was upset with Brother Polight, oh, now he want to call him out, but now they back good, they bad buddies, and now he back caping for him. See, that
I
to
don't know who
me,
you're talking
it
about. Who I probably remember if you put in the chat. I put in the back chat because I don't know.
you mentioned his name earlier before you mentioned his name. Start with an S.
Sonetta?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yeah, that's
his wife's niece, like,
oh
and
wow.
it was one what ran away. Father looking for police involved, the whole nine. Ran away with Brother Polight at underage. Listen, these girls are so far brainwashed and gone, or they so far lost, or something is going on in their households where you got underage girls running away from home to be with Polight and follow Polight. And
Okay,
it was. Go ahead.
hold on, Patrice. New growth. If it's not correct, it's not short for culture. What is it? What is cult? What is it? That's what I was told. But you let us know, New Growth, what does cult actually mean? All right. So until then, what we're gonna do, Patrice? Now we're gonna hear a little bit more polite caping for Dr. York. And
Okay. Yeah,
it's
this is
almost,
despicable. This
yeah,
is
man,
absolutely
it's really
despicable.
crazy, man. It's almost as crazy as the Adam 22 situation, right? You're like, what the hell? How could you actually be saying this, man? But anyway, let's get to it.
Out of all these children, it could have stopped so long ago if just one child or just one adult. What caused all of this to come out? First, you hear nothing from nobody.
Yeah.
You hear nothing from nobody. Then you hear something from everybody, all at the same time.
They might not have been a medium to talk to anybody about the situation.
Not even their parents.
I mean, that's why, of course, I could have I could have told my mother.
We chose not to.
It's not that I chose not to. To really explain it would really take a lot. But I mean, you're not really yourself when you're not, you know what I'm saying? You ain't got no esteem. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no, you know what I'm saying? You can't even face, like, my mother she found out from my sister and she came to me and asked me about it. And I still really couldn't even tell her. I had to say, well, I had sex with the girl and he was there. And that was my way of telling her that, yeah, it happened. You know what I'm saying? But that's what the initial conversation. And this is like 2 weeks before we left. It was something I was under. I couldn't tell my mom. I didn't tell nobody. It was something that held me to not say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Because I looked up to him as my dad. Because I looked up to him as a person that he was. I thought he was a God figure. I thought he, you know, and all those reasons, like, you know, I'm trying to like see why is this going on? What's the significance? I'm young. I don't even know what really in sex, and I don't.
Why do you think he's locked up for 135 years, underground 60 feet, in a super max penitentiary with no one with a case likened to his own, amongst cannibals? Not because what you think he should be locked up for, why you think he's locked up.
Well, I mean, to answer your question in the way that I think.
What difference does that make?
Yeah, that's disgusting. Like, you know, absolutely. And listen, and he's gonna say to him, well, not one person said anything. Like one person could have just went. People don't understand when you are a child and this is happening to you and you're being groomed, you're being told this is normal, you're being coerced. As a child whose brain isn't fully developed yet, you're trying to understand what is going on and what is happening to you. And then sometimes they may have put fear in the children. You know, they may have threatened. Yeah, they put fear, threatened the family, threatened to harm someone. Who knows? But like he said he was confused, didn't understand what was going on. Even when he did tell his mother, he still kind of told her in a roundabout way, because as a boy, he was afraid to say another man was touching on him. So he put a girl in the scenario. Listen, the brain compartmentalizes things differently when you're a child, and when these type of traumatic things are happening, the children brain goes haywire, and how they compartmentalize what is going on to them. They knowing they feel a certain way, but they're being told something by an adult, someone they look up to, someone they love, someone they trust. You know, listen, he said this man was like a father figure to me. He was like a God figure. This young man was born and grew up in the cult. He knew nothing else. So that was considered normal to him.
Right.
You know, so and for Polight to sit up and make light of it, it just shows you how sick he is. That's why I said I absolutely believe he was a victim himself that became a victimizer, because he is sitting here with this young man trying to rationalize and justify and make reason for why he's sitting in prison, why he's pushing the narrative back on the young man, as to say, well, if somebody would have just said something, and you know, and why didn't nobody, and how about why the parents ain't locked up? That is a deflection and a reverse psychology tactic that he is trying to play on this young man, which shows you how sick Brother Polight is. how deeply rooted his illness is with it.
Yeah, but see, that's what I want to show, Patrice. I want to show where this stuff came from, like how he could be sympathetic to a man that had did something like that, and he's saying, "Oh, 135 years for all the you know, child diddling. That's some kind of way that's an unjust sentence, right?" So we this is the
Right.
type of thinking person. This is the type of thinking mentality that we dealing with. Right. This is what we think now. So now we got that established that he is very sympathetic to a person that has done something similar to what he allegedly did. Right. And Dr. York, unfortunately, man, if everything is true to what everybody said, and I don't see no reason why the people that came forward have any reason to lie, he was off the hook with it. Right. So Polight just dipped his toe in it, as far as we know. Now, there might be some other victims out there that we don't even know about, but as far as we know, we got this one victim on record, right? And it looks pretty bad.
But
It's
trust
going to
and
be hard to
believe.
explain your semen around
Exactly.
a 14-year-old girl. That's going to be hard to explain.
On her person and on her clothing. Okay.
Yeah, that's going to be very difficult to explain.
And believe me, there are more victims. I believe wholeheartedly,
I'm sure they probably are.
whether they come forward or not, there are more victims.
Right.
People
the rest
like
of them probably took the money.
People like Brother Polight do not do this. This is not a first situation, because, like I told you, Sonetta's niece by his wife niece ran away underage with Brother Polight. He had a couple of women in that harem with him at the time was underage, that he was, saying, calling them his wives and all of these different things. And some of the women had children and some of them didn't. It's sickening for him to sit up and justify this behavior and to try to shift the blame on the victims. And it's so unfortunate. And people, and it's even like people like him that said that, well, if somebody would have just said something, it's the same type of people that say that about people, that's why it takes so long for them to come out and say something. Because people, first of all, it's very, very hard to do that. It's a guilt thing, because a lot of times the victim even blame themselves, and think that it was their fault that this happened to them or whatever. And a lot of times that's why they don't say nothing. Another reason is because they feel people not going to believe them.
That's another thing.
That's like one of the number one reasons. And then all it takes is one brave person. And I guess that's what happened with the whole Brother Polight, not Brother Polight, the teacher, why I keep forgetting his name, Dr. York. It just took one, and then the floodgates open. Right now, with the situation with Brother Polight, it's just this one. We know that he have beat some charges. He have danced. He have gotten lucky when it comes to this type of offense with underage girls. But who knows now, after this situation, if anyone else will come forward or not. Maybe not. I mean, it's people blaming this 14-year-old girl's mother, who was his lady, who Polight had been around and took her somewhere before. So there was a level of trust that was built. And I guess he was, listen, and that's a part of grooming, right? I'm going to continue to build that trust. Maybe the first 2 or 3, 4, 5 times I ain't going to do nothing. But when the opportunity persists, because I'm gaining the trust, right? Yeah. Now the opportunity arises itself. The mother trusts me to take her with me alone, so now I'm going to take advantage of this opportunity, right?
Yeah, sad, man. It's sad. We don't have no, I don't want to say we have no, but we have, it's not that many places you can go to learn integrity among the brotherhood, man. It's just really not that many places. And unfortunately, so many people put their trust in Polight, and he just was able to get it over. We're gonna look at a couple of them.
Still now to this day, and even with this situation, because that's when I first came on YouTube, in these YouTube streets. I was listening and following this whole case when it first came out a couple of years ago, and I was on panels talking about it with certain people, because it was certain men that had platforms. Thank God. Shout out to Uncle Suge. Uncle Suge was one. He was one that has a platform that was calling out, men to speak up. He was calling Polight out, calling Sonnet and them out on his platform, because it just wasn't enough men speaking up.
Yeah.
It just, even now, you don't see it. Too many men speaking up and calling this out, and in the conscious community of all places.
But you know what they tell us as men? Mind your own business. See, they say they tell us, we tell each other, mind your own business, right? A dude, my best friend might be slapping his wife around, but that's his household. I'm gonna mind my own business. Instead of me confront him, say, hey man, I saw your wife come to the door with a black eye. What's that about? But we as men, we taught to mind our own business.
But look what happened when Sierra wore a see-through dress. Look what happening now all over social media with Keke Palmer, because she went up on the stage, in a see-through outfit, doing the booty dance all up on Usher. Look how many people talking about that, but you rarely.
That's what I'm saying. We
rarely see him calling out this though. It just goes to show you it's such a double standard. It's a double standard, because
ridiculous.
Some of the men are the main ones that's calling these women out, but when it comes to the brothers, I don't know. It's just a handful of them.
Okay, Patrice, we got to get to this. So now we're gonna talk about how Polight came into, because he was doing well financially at a certain point. So we're gonna talk about how he got there, right? So this is young Pharaoh back when he had a little bit of sense in his head, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I used to listen to that young man too. They all just all fell off. Oh, sad.
Before the drugs and the money and all
that. Yeah, sad.
All right. Well, that's what I'm saying. They get corrupted. All right. So this is Pharaoh talking about how Polight scandal.
Okay.
This judgment, because you want to hear to the torchlight that is shining in your midst, and I'm one of its flamethrowers. I came here to burn your behind.
That's Dr. Khalid Muhammad, of course.
You got 3 minutes, brother.
That's all I need.
All right.
Okay, so when you talk about status correction with New Covenant, the first thing we're going to tell you is it ascertains your political legal disposition, your unlimited commercial capacity, and your genetic reference as it relates to nationality. That's what we say on the sum. If you ask anybody else what a status correction means, they're not going to give it to you in that.
Wait a minute, what'd he say? What'd he say?
I don't know. I don't know, but anybody talk that fast, I'm side-eyeing them anyway. Anybody talk that fast. That's all that sound like to me. It's like, what? Talking a bunch of gibberish. Anybody talk that fast, slick talk, honey, I'm side-eyeing you in the first place.
I thought it was at an auction. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? All right, let's listen some more about status correction with Brother Polight.
That elaborate form of detail. When you join New Covenant, number one thing that makes what we do in the status correction different is that you make money from it. This was a very powerful experience. And all I could do is just say thank you to everybody that came out. Attorney Malik Zul Shabazz, he banged hard. Pause. He was out there banging. He went in. Very courteous, very professional, very exact in his statements. However, he also raised it up a notch for our people. And for that, I'm eternally grateful to have that black man by my side who flew out here. That costs money. When people say, why you need money for a legal defense? We're turning this into a movement, people. We're turning this into a movement. That's what this is. It's already a movement. If it wasn't before, it officially is today. we're turning this into a movement. All right. So take all of that into consideration when you see us raising funds for the legal defense team, because it costs to fly attorneys in, for them to do labor. And then, of course, I'm also producing work myself to take some of the heat off of us, to take some of the financial burden off of us as well. I'm doing what I can do because I'm creative and I also got the mind for it as well.
Just to give y'all a reminder, if you sign in it as the debtor, which is the straw man, it's all capitals. If you sign it as the creditor, which is you, the flesh and blood person, then it's first letter capital, last the continuing letters of the first and last names are lowercase. You're also going to need a red stamp ink pad. As y'all can see, it got the ink in there. You just put your thumb on it. You know what I mean? You can see my thumb's still red. I just stamped mine this morning. It won't wash off yet. You put your thumb on it and you stamp the notarized documents. I've been to the bank to get my joints notarized. Also, I'm going to put the link to this in the description of this video. This is an accepted for value stamp. You're going to need this to stamp your birth certificate at a 45-degree angle. So if you were looking at your birth certificate, it should be this way on the birth certificate. And the way you fill this out, he puts the instructions in there as well. But if not, you put the exemption ID number, which is the first line as your social security number without no dashes. The second line, your UCC contract trust account number, is your social security number with dashes. Your value.
Okay. This is the wrong
Man,
video.
they was getting
I got
people.
another one, but this is
Oh,
the
okay,
video
because I was
where.
ready to say, what is that? Where they getting people social security numbers?
Oh no! They change your whole thing around. See, the status correction is they're changing your whole thing. This is part of the sovereign citizen movement where they're gonna change your whole thing around, and then you don't have to have a driver's license. You don't have to have a car insurance. You don't have to register your car. You know, they got a whole bunch of different
Oh,
stuff.
this is when they was doing that become a sovereign nation thing.
This is where Polight made most of his money. Was selling these status correction kits.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It was a kit that you bought, and then you know, I think it was like, between $500 and $750.
Now, how much did he beat this brother out of?
I think about the $750, whatever it was. You know, because this brother bought it when he was still in jail, and he got it when he got out of jail. He put it to work, but it didn't work. So, but this is back when he was following Polight's thing, and he was like, "Yeah, I did it all that." But yeah, you can do it. You can fill out all these papers, but ain't nothing gonna happen when you go to court. They're not going. This stuff is not going to be. You can file it and have it notarized, and what do you call that? What do you call that, Patrice? When you put it in with the county clerk or whatever?
You talking about like notarization?
Well, when you notarize
some type of certification.
Well, when you notarize it and then you take it to the county recorder and they record it. You record it down there, right?
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's enforceable. They'll let you record whatever you want to record, right? If it's on the right paperwork, you can record it. But is it enforceable? That's the question. Are you filing a piece of paper that's enforceable? So that's what Polight unfortunately was selling them. Paper documents that aren't enforceable. Now this is back when Polight, when young Pharaoh was with the gang. Now we're gonna watch a video when Pharaoh had woke up, man. He woke up from the game. All right, let's see. Where's that one at? Where's that one at? Okay. Polight. So young Pharaoh was like, "Yeah, man, it's this what do you call it? Status correction. It works." And this okay, here we go. Which one is? Oh, here we go. Here it is.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local
Hey, real tone, it's some real money in the room. Why do you claim Brother Polight scammed you?
Because I talked to that man on the phone, and this is gonna sound crazy as fuck, but at the time I was gullible enough to believe it. So he hit me with this is no disrespect to the Moors. He hit me with the same, they be talking about that Moorish science, sovereignty, it's secure party creditors, You on parole, I could get you off parole. The government don't have no all that good talking jigaboo. And I gave that the $550 for a secure party creditor package or whatever it was called off his website. I got all screenshotted at home. Matter of fact, I'm gonna print a book out on his, but I got all the screenshotted at home. I still got everything throughout the years on the flash drive. Two terabyte flash drives backed up. You would never get rid of it. But with that being said, so I send the bread. I talk to him and his wife. I send in the bread, and then after I send the bread, he just keep giving me the runaround, like, do this, and then this will happen. I do it, don't nothing happen. Do this, then this will happen. I do it. Email me this information, nothing get done. And then it ghosted me. So after the ghosted me, I'm like, oh, this shit got to be a scam. So then I start researching into it, and I just see, and I'm not making this number up, y'all, because I'm not a hater. I'm not here to never try to stop nobody bad. Y'all can look it up. As a matter of fact, if y'all go find this attorney named Attorney Yikes Speaks, she's a federal attorney. And according to her, just in 1 year alone, Polight scammed for like $600,000. That's just in 1 year. The reason he left Brooklyn is because the feds was trying to get him at one of his events for scamming, and then he ran to Cali. Then when they tried to get him in Cali, he ran to Miami. So I'm just letting y'all know this is what they do. Now, long story short, when he scammed me, he tried to ghost me. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to New York anyway. This guy invited me, and I know that this is Sinetta right-hand man. So I'm like, I ain't even going to press the issue too much. I'm gonna just wait till I get there. So before I came out there, I told him Polight scammed me. So he like, oh, I'm gonna talk to him. I'm gonna get your money back. So boom, after the interview, I told Sinetta, I said, yo, call Polight on the three-way, put it on speaker because he's not answering the phone. So put him on speaker, like you talking to him. Let me talk to him. So when he called Polight, he put it on speaker. I was like, yo, no, Polight, like, peace, what up, sir? I'm like, what up? This Pharaoh. So he like, who? I'm like, this Pharaoh. I'm like, yo, da-da-da-da-da. So I told him who I was. So he like, oh, what's up? I'm like, yo, where you been at? I'm blocked or something? Like, why I can't get in contact with you? So he like, no, my bad, brother. It ain't like that. You not try to king you to death and brother you to death when they know they wrong. My bad, brother. King, brother. All that bull. So I'm like, yo, I told him straight up, I said, Polight, I don't really know how much money you got. I'm not counting your pockets. But I know I'm broke as now. I just got out of jail. And I ain't hustling. I ain't offer me 100 bands to knock something off. I turned it down so I could stay so I could stay legit and on my spiritual path. So I'd rather be legit to quit. Yeah, I'd rather stay humble. I'd rather be humble and work my way up slow than be scamming. But I'm like, that's my last bread. That's my.
All right. All right.
What up, brother King? You know what I mean, brother King.
Shout out to Big Rig Slap. You know,
brother, you know it wasn't like that, man.
My king, oh, King, come on, man. It's only $550, man, and you get this status correction. I knew that was a scam from the beginning, right? But
yeah.
I see, and if you can do whatever you want to do, but as far as going to court, see, that's the part where I said I don't like where they say, well, this is going to work in court. It's not going to work in court, and a lot of our brothers in the Moore Science Temple, some of them have found out the hard way that doesn't work. Yeah,
because that sovereignty thing, you have to first of all, depending on where you live in, and what's the rules in the govern in that state, right? Because like I'm in Arizona, where of course a lot of the Indians have their sovereignty here, right?
Yeah,
and they have their own government, they have their own sheriff, police department, government official offices, etc., to be a sovereign land. That so it depends, so for him to tell people and to get that kind of money, because man, if he really did, that's over $500,000 that he scammed people, and it's just one scam. Right, because we all know he was doing the PPP one. He was doing another one. I forget what it was called. Something with starting your business. So many.
Yeah,
so many. So and one that they I remember one particular elderly person he had scammed out of $90-some thousand. I know they were trying to get him on that. He was going to court, and the man, the elderly man, or was it a woman? I want to say it was a man. he ended up dying before, before he can finish out the court case. I remember them bringing up all of that back, 2 years ago when this case first,
Yeah.
when I first came on the YouTube streets. They went back so deep in all of the different scams that Brother Polight was pulling. It was just amazing to me to see, to know that he had all these charges and pulling all these scams, and people were still falling for the new scams he was coming up with. It's unbelievable at how easily influenced our people can be, because they're looking and seeking, and it's so easy to follow someone without, and they just do it on word most of the time, word
Yeah.
of from somebody else, or hearing somebody speak and not doing the background check on these type. If they'd have did the background check on him 5 years ago, nobody would have messed with him. But when we take chances, when we see these people, these aka so-called leaders of conscious communities or faith or
Man.
religions or whatever, and or movements or whatever, and we say, I'm just gonna do this.
Well, see, the
just
thing
just
is,
just
Patrice,
just without going deeper, below the surface, so to
they
speak.
they come with such a good route. Hey, I'm for the community. I want black business. I want to start help black business. Don't you want to support black business, sister? Don't you want to support black business, brother? I'm a black business person. You can support me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, wait,
And
have a legitimate business license as
and I'm
right,
gonna
like,
give you this status correction. You're gonna get a status correction, or you're gonna be
and
off parole.
actually sell a good service of a product, right? Then I have no problem
and
with that. But
it has
but
some
you
customer
but you
service to
selling
go with it.
dreams, and you selling get rich quick schemes. Most of these things, if it's too good, if it's too good to be true and believable, then 9 times out of 10 it is. It's too good to be true,
Yes.
especially
Yeah.
for people that are with these get rich quick schemes, and they just going, it's step ABC 1 2 3, follow this, but give me your $9.99.99, one
Yeah.
time fee, and we got people that's gonna walk you through this, that, and the other. I mean, and we just do it. We just do it. And
Hey,
and
y'all,
now
we selling
with
the we
with Google.
selling the OG Patrice. We selling the OG Patrice get out of jail card. It's a card that you could get from us, and you show it to the cops, and they just let you go. How about that, Patrice? Let's just sell
Listen,
that card.
it's get rich quick schemes, it's Ponzi schemes, it's, I mean, all kind of programs. They got one called the gifting one, where you put this much in, and if you get so many people to
Oh
put
man,
in,
that's
you
an
get
old
that
one
back.
though.
I
That's an
mean,
old one.
the Ponzi scheme where
Yeah.
you bring, I come in on somebody else, then I get one or two people, and
Yeah.
it's just all kind of stuff, and now
You
it's
know
just
what?
too much. It's too much research now here that you can do, and Googling you could do, to look up stuff to know, and even check out the Better Business Bureau, as well, to know if people are legit as well.
Man, my wife, bless her heart, man, about almost 20 something years ago, man. She was working at this restaurant, man, and she was yeah, she was she had a couple friends there, they would work together at the restaurant, right? So she was uh 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 her friend was telling her, hey, told her and a couple of other friends, Jamaican friends. She had a bunch of different friends there. So anyway, this particular chick was from Mexico. So she was like, hey, yeah, Mexico, we do this. We have 7 people put $100 a month into this pot, and one person gets the pot every month, right? And so she said, she came home and told me, she's all excited. Yeah, we're gonna do this. Me and my friends, we're gonna do this thing, and then we're gonna get. It's like you saving money. I said, why don't you just put that money in, put it in the bank account? Well, you don't have to. You don't have to wait for that. You just put it in the bank account. Oh no, see, you just don't think you just a hater. You don't really think about. You always look for the bad. I said, well, I mean, I got to, right? I mean, it don't sound too solid to me. So my wife said, well, you know, what do you think? Should I do it? I said, heck no, don't do it. Don't you do it. So she listened to me, didn't do it. You know, that lady got that money. She left.
From those people. Yeah, that's the
She
gift.
left.
That's the gift scheme.
She left. She got that money. She was gone. But my point is, man, there's always a scam artist out there, man. That's why I always do the hit parade. I do all these other stuff so we can see, man, there's people everywhere doing this stuff. Now, what we're gonna do now, Patrice, we're gonna watch a little bit more of Young Pharaoh. Then I'm gonna go to the dude that he really scammed. This dude, man. This dude, I don't know if this is the dude you're talking about, but this dude passed away before he could do anything to Polight.
Yep, that's the dude. That's the dude. I thought he was an elderly dude, though.
No, he was a very sick dude, man. He was like, I think he had like cancer or something. And Polight took his last little bit of money. He had inherited some money. And
yep, that's him. That's him. Okay, he was an elderly. Okay.
Or something like that. And Polight took all the money from this dude, man. But anyway, I'm gonna show you a little bit of that. But let me finish up with Young Pharaoh.
My last money, like, nigga, I'm in college. I'm getting my little check from the Navy every month. By the time I pay my rent, that's all I got. So whatever money you got, whether you renting these cars or what, that's my last bread. So I'm like, it might not be nothing to you. It hurts me. So I'm like, bro, I need my money back. Or I'm like, out. And I don't give a fuck about Sinetter being your man's or nothing. I air his out too. So I think I'm on net. I don't even think Sinetter paid me. I think Polight paid me back. Neither one of them paid me. I think it's Western Union me and gave me my money back because I kept getting on that head every day. Like, bro, I would really shoot you, bro. And it ain't about the money. It's about the principle. I'm not out here. It's rules to the game. If you in the street, rob that's in the street. You don't go rob the old mom and pop store. They not in the street. You feel what I'm saying? It's rules to the game. I'm not in the street. I'm in college at the time and working. You just scammed me for my last even.
This is a switch bike. This is a switch bike. No.
Though it was only $500, it was my last at the time. So I need that. I got rent to pay, all kind of. So I end up keep putting the pressure on him. And then his I believe it was his wife, if I'm not mistaken. But if not, let's just say somebody in his circle, Western Union me my money back. And then from there, I was beefing with the conscious community ever since then. Man, them niggas Polight had to put a fake case on me and all kind of.
He had to put a fake case on me.
Man, he had a name, Dr. Mayat from Baltimore, bro. Deanna Bailey, that's her name. He had that say, and I got the screenshot of him admitting that they was lying and spreading rumors on me, and I successfully sued it for $276,000.
Brother Polight?
Yeah, I beat him already in court for all of the loot.
In court?
In court, Weinstein. I'm telling you, listen.
So you got the paperwork. If it was in court, you got paperwork.
Yeah, I got the paperwork. I won the decision. I won. I got the decision. My question is, why the you ain't gave me my money yet? Either you really ain't got no money like you fronting or you hiding somewhere, but I've successfully, you probably could Google it. I busted in California court. But with that being said, long story short, where was I at? That kind of threw my mind off. Where was that?
It threw my mind off.
On my yacht. So this what happened. So right. he get mad about that. So Polight
her Western Union you the money.
Yeah, he just get mad at the same reason everybody else get mad. I'm an up and coming young black man and they can't control me. You feel me? So didn't have this press charges on me and lie and say that I said I would kill her and throw her son off a bridge. Mind you, I never said that. If I said that, I would tell you I said that. I never said that. Now my thing is, I don't even got this number. So when did I call her and say that? I don't even got her number. Wouldn't have never even knew she was from or lived in Baltimore if I didn't get indictment, some court.
I didn't even know that about Dr. Mayat. I didn't even know that. Wow.
Neither did I.
Okay. The Patrice, the rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper, girl. What you got me going on now? Your rabbit hole gets deeper and deeper. Oh my gosh. Okay, here's the brother, man. Here's the brother. And unfortunately, man, this brother was scammed out of I don't know if it was $90,000 or $100-something thousand. He had a little inheritance that he got, and Polight got him.
Aloha, you too.
Yep, that's the one I'm talking about.
And I really feel like I need to express myself because I'm having some very unhealthy thoughts in my head. And I want to tell you the absolute truth about my experience with Brother Polight as his mentee. Like, I'm not lying. There's no reason to lie. I'm not trying to get anything that I don't deserve back. I just want the money I invested back. So I'm starting from the beginning. This may seem like a long story. It's a lot going on. And so I was in Hawaii doing my thing, studying crypto, studying programming. And like I said in my other videos, I knew I had to make sacrifices. So I slept on the beach in a hammock and was just grinding until my programming skills were good enough. And, you know what I'm saying? And it just so happened that my father died. We weren't that close, but I was on my own for a long time since I was 16, 17. I've been on my own, you know. I haven't lived with him, and we weren't that close. But he ended up having a heart attack. He ended up dying, and then I found out that I was going to get some life insurance money, and it just so happened I needed it because I only had like 45 cents in my bank account. I just was grinding, just saving my crypto. I didn't want to sell my crypto. I knew that one day it would go up, and I was just freelancing, hustling, farming, trying to get any paper I could to survive while so I ended up getting that money, and I thought I had two major decisions I could have made. And the first one was just to buy Bitcoin and then travel Asia, South Korea, Asia. And other was to I've been following Brother Polight. Like, he woke me up into consciousness. Like, he was the main reason, that and Bitcoin. And I told him this, you woke me up into consciousness. And I started following his teachings. I started doing the tax liens. I bought a few of his books. A few orders didn't come through. I didn't trip on it. I just charged that to the game. And I love this brother.
That's another problem that they was having, Polight was having, where people would order books and the books never came. He was scamming people like that as well.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah. It's just, I was like, man, he's, I mean, Polight has so many different things to do, but I want to get into this guy's story real quick, and then we're gonna get into the court, and then we're gonna stop it there because he goes to court tomorrow, allegedly, supposedly. We're gonna see. So but I want to get to his story.
Really, really, really love this brother from the bottom of my heart. I didn't even know him. All I knew of him was virtually, from what I saw virtually. And I knew that he had a lot of hate, a lot of people hating him. And I didn't necessarily understand why. And everyone's calling him a scammer, people call him a fraud, people this. And against my own better judgment, I chose not to believe that. I chose to believe that he had a powerful message, and that, that it could really help our people, our Black people out. So I hit him up one time for the mentorship because I was so inspired after watching one of his live streams. But when he hit me back, I didn't have the money. And I felt so bad, so terrible. I felt like I missed out on an opportunity to change my finances and change my life and be Brother Polight's mentee.
Shout out to True Arts.
If I ever have the money, it was $3,500.
All right, did y'all hear that? Did y'all hear that? $3,500 to be Brother Polight's mentee. He's gonna mentor you. Hey, Brother Clarence gonna mentor you. It only costs you $5,000. I'll mentor you. Turn all your bank accounts over to me. I'm gonna mentor you. But brother, what is he gonna mentor? What is Polight gonna actually mentor you to do? To do what? If Polight had all this knowledge, how come he ain't doing what he's trying to teach you to do? I got to give it to Polight though, man. He knows how to package and sell information, that's for sure. But he ain't doing it though, right? All right, y'all. Let's get back to the mentee. Unfortunately, man, it's really not funny because this brother was ill. He found out. I think after he got this money, found out he had cancer or something. Man, he was ill, and Polight still took his money from him. But we're gonna get into it. Hold on.
For the minimal mentee, if I ever had that money, I would invest it with Brother Polight, and I would change my life, financially, So I had the money. It was over $100,000, and I hit up Polight. Like the moment I got out of the bank, I hit up Brother Polight and I said, "Hey, I got the bread. I'm ready to start the mentorship." And he was like, "Oh," and he realized that I was in Hawaii. So it wasn't just like send a Chase or send a Wells Fargo. There's 2 different bank accounts. So I had to it wasn't sending him money. It was sending other people money, women, men, people I didn't know about, people I thought or assumed were his financial advisors or people in his financial realm. So we were texting, we were talking, Western Union, MoneyGram. It was literally for like weeks. I'm sending him bread. And so I sent him bread for the mentorship, that alone. And then once that bread was sent, it was $3,500. He started talking to me, give me the mentorship, and gave me the whole spiel. And I was like, wow, man, I can't believe it. Like, I can't believe, like, I'm talking to Brother Polight. Like, I can't believe, like, I'm in this mentorship. And so the first investment, he was like, so he has a deal with tax liens, and if he buys a bunch of tax liens at once, then he gets a discount from the county, and it'll cost me about $30,000 to invest in the tax liens. And he said I would triple my money or something like that. Maybe it wasn't 30,000, maybe it was 25,000. I would triple my money in a half. That's what he told me, 3.2 times my return. And he said every 14 days, that's what he told me. 3.2 times your return every 14 days from your $30,000 investment. I mean, whoa, this is crazy. Like I could come up like that just every 2 weeks. And then, so I started sending him that bread. Like, wow, man, I can't believe this is really happening. And yeah, so he told me I would get back $42.3 thousand from the money I sent him. And I was like, dope. And I think I paid for the trust too. I'm not even sure how much that cost. Oh, so what I slipped up and I fucked up. And I told him how much money I received. That was my fault. And I know in retrospect, he took full advantage of that. He took full advantage. And as I'm sending him money, I'm thinking like, hey man, like what else is on the next level of the mentorship? Oh, it's about 5,000 this and 5,000 that. And you get this and this, you get another streams of income. It's like 3, 6, and 9 different streams of income. So I'm thinking like, hey, it's just a little extra investment. Why not just get the other mentorship? Why not just step it up a level? And he was like, all right, cool, send me the bread. So I sent him the money. And
Okay, y'all. Are y'all paying attention? First, he sent him $3,500. Let's add this up. Where's my calculator? Let's add this up. We're gonna be, well, Brother Clarence, I don't know how good you are with numbers. I'm not. I'm very terrible with numbers, but I'm gonna get it. That's why I'm gonna get a calculator. See, I can, I ain't like Vaughn. Vaughn is good with money. I'm not good. So I gotta get a calculator so I can count. Okay, some $3,500, right? That was for the mentorship. Gave him another $25,000. That was for the tax liens, right? Because he's going. So now we had $28,500, right? Now he's got to send him another $9,000. Now we had $37,500, right? Okay. This man ain't got nothing back yet. Ain't seen no returns on his money yet, right? According to him. All right, so let's finish.
And then I'm like, we're sending him more money. I'm not even sure. Like, and then I'm thinking like, why don't I was like, what's the next level? He's like, the celebrity mentorship. And I'm like, that's when I told him how much money I got. He's like, oh, I'm gonna just give you the mentorship I give Floyd and all the celebrities. I'll just give you that one. I'm thinking, damn, like for real, it's like that. Like, I'm just gonna get the celebrity mentorship from Brother Polight. Like, all right, like for sure. And then later he was like, oh, you want to come out to LA to buy a condo? It's gonna cost $17,000. Was what, just 17 grand? For sure, like no problem. It's like, oh, my wife, Raed, she's a property manager.
You can't even buy a toilet for 17
Hello,
grand
not in California. You can't even buy a studio. Like, come on.
Man, so now he's at 17,000. Now we have $54,500, right? This man ain't got nothing back yet. Right? So he said he got $100,000. He already spent half of that money with Polight already. Right? Nothing came back yet. He got I don't know if you was listening, Patrice, but he got the celebrity mentorship.
Yeah, the same one he give Floyd Mayweather and them.
The same one he give Money Mayweather, you go get the same one to you. How lucky you are. I think Floyd had the millions before Polight came along, but you never know. Maybe Polight talked him into some of that money. All right, y'all, let's get back to this poor brother, man. And y'all remember, man, I mean, I'm making light of it, but really this is a sad situation because this brother passed away, unfortunately, man, due to his illness. And just the stress of that situation with Polight, man. I'm sure he felt
that's
awful
crazy. And never got justice. Never got no form of justice.
Nothing. All right, y'all, let's continue.
Manage it for you. You're gonna be an entrepreneur. You're gonna that'll be another stream of income. And I'm thinking, and he's like, so when can you make it out to LA? And I'm like, damn, I don't know, like next week or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just living out of, so I ended up having enough money to live out of my van. I'm telling Polight, yo, I'm living out of my van right now. I just got this bread. I didn't spend hardly anything. You know what I'm saying? Hardly anything. I'm still so in frugal state of mind and just, you know what I'm saying, wanting to invest, and change my future. And so yeah, I bought the ticket, and I bought a few music instruments just to hold me down because I need my music spiritually. And then I bought a ticket to LA. And then Polight was like, yo, I can't wait to meet you. And I'm like, yo. So I go out to LA. I go to, I forgot, the Galleria or whatever. I forgot what they call it, over there in Beverly Hills. And then, so I meet him in person, like, yo, man, like, you changed my life. Like seriously, brother, I'm so excited to meet you in person. And I wasn't sure what to do. Oh, and he also told me, bring as much money in cash on the plane with you. And I was like, how much can I bring? He's like, up to $10,000. And so.
Will Robinson, warning, Will Robinson, warning, danger. What did that robot used to say on Lost in Space? Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Oh, man. Now, let me just tell y'all something. I know all of y'all are smart people out there, but let me just enlighten you a little bit. If you give somebody close to $60,000, you don't see no return on it. They telling you you're going to get a return in 14 days. You don't get no return on it. You should at least consider the possibility of maybe not giving them no more money until you get the return on the first money, right? Get a return on the first money, and then you could consider doing this again. Maybe consider doing it again. But you got to get a return, right? Okay, so let's see. This man that had got no return yet, and now Polight's telling him, "Oh, you coming to Cali? Oh, bring as much in cash as you can, right? Do it the Dr. Sebi way. Just stuff it in a suitcase, right? Stuff it in a suitcase. You know what? Dr. Sebi is no longer with us. Dr. Sebi tried to bring $21,000 across the Honduras border in cash, in American dollars. Man, I don't know, man. Them Honduras police said, you can go, but not this money ain't going nowhere, right? They had a training day moment. Hey, you can go, but not this money. This money ain't going nowhere. Dr. Sebi tried to deal with them dudes. What you doing, man? I just want to take my money and smoke my ganja. No, boss. This money ain't going nowhere. You can go. But unfortunately, Dr. Sebi met an unfortunate and untimely demise trying to bring that kind of cash across the border. Anyway, let's get back to this young man, because he's got an ugly little story to tell about his experience allegedly with Polight.
So I brought $9,000 in cash, and the moment I met him, I gave him the $9,000 in cash.
Okay, let's stop right there. You gave him $9,000. Let's add that $9,000. Uh-oh. Okay.
It's crazy to know this young man was really that naive.
Oh man, dude, that's sad. But there's people out there like that, Patrice. We had $63,500 right now. No return, no nothing.
Naive and gullible.
And he was just like, all right, I got things to do. I need to hang out with my wife. I'll see you later. I'm thinking, all right, let me just get like an Airbnb. You know what I'm saying? I never Airbnb before. And so yeah, and I'm just kicking into my Airbnb thinking like, all right, what's the next step? And I'm thinking, he's like, yo, you can rent one of my cars. I own a part of a luxury car company. And how much? And he's like, this is how much it's gonna cost, $1,200. Like, and I'm thinking, damn. So I gave him like $3,000 to rent the car, or the rental cars, luxury car. And that's when the first.
All right. Now we had $3,000. Okay, let's add $3,000. $66,500 so far. All right. I think now he's getting an inkling.
First sketchy thing happened that first came up. And him and Amanette and Ma'at pulled up. I said, hey, you guys changed my life. You guys changed my life. Let's go upstairs.
They changed his life, all right.
Yeah, boy.
And he's like, I'll be back later. I'll drop off the car later. And I was like, hey, yo, I just want to go see my old homies. I'm from LA. I want to go see my old homies. And he was like, all right, I'll drop off the car later. No word from him that night. And I hit him up late, like, yo, you still dropping this? Like, yo, yeah, if you still need me to drop it off, I'll drop it off. And I'm like, all right. He's like, yo, I'm busy. And I'm like, okay. And then I think the next day comes by and nothing yet. And I'm like, he's like, no, I just wanted the car to be ready. It was raining. Somebody else went and washed the car. The car washed and that. And so straight up, no fucking car. And I really think the next step after that, yeah. So that's what happened. And I don't know. For some reason, I let it go, because the next thing was like, yo, I'm about to go to Vegas this weekend. You want to come with me? I'm about to go in the music studio in Vegas. I want to see if you want to come with me. You want to come? And I'm thinking like, yo, like, what does that mean? Like, do I got to drive behind you? Like, are you going to be with your wives? Because he's always like, I don't have any men around me. So I was trying to be like respectful. Like, you're like, what are you implying? He's like, what do you mean? Like, and I'm like, yo, I'm not sure. And so that's the first time he flipped out. It's like, did I ever tell you something? Like, did I ever tell you that? And I'm like,
nah, bro, I'm just trying to be. Just like, I don't know. He just kind of flipped a little, and I'm like, whoa, all right, like, yeah, of course I want to go. Like, of course, like I'm totally down to go. And I'm like, yo, I'll even drive. I offer to drive. He's like, no, you don't got to drive. I want to give you the mentorship. I want to go over the mentorship with you on the way there. So just knock out a few things. And I'm thinking, dope, man, dope. So yeah, we go, and then I didn't know it was Nina at the time, but we go and pick her up, and then we go and pick up the cameraman, who was a hella cool dude. And so we start driving, and then literally, like, he was like, "Hey G, you want to drive?" And I'm like, all right. So yeah, I pretty much drove the whole way there to Vegas, and no mentorship for me. He was writing lyrics, going over with Nina. He was doing other mentorships, and I'm just having to drive. And then he's tripping out about how soon he needs to be in the studio because it's going to cost him more money. And so I'm literally speeding to Vegas. And we get pulled over, I get the ticket. And he's like, don't worry, put that in your trash, write it off, it's all good. So I get to, and then we drive to the studio. And
oh man, I think we're gonna stop it right here, y'all. We're gonna stop it right here. This is part one. We're gonna do a part two on Sunday, and we might do a little more of this on Sunday. We're gonna look at Polight responding to these allegations, and we're gonna do a couple other things on Sunday. But yeah, man, just wanted to give you guys a cursory view of shout out to Don Frank. Glad to have you in the building, sis. A cursory inspection of Polight.
Brother, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I want. Are you gonna try to pull up if they have the online court thing with him on tomorrow, and we could look at it later when you do part two?
I have some of that now, but it's just too much. I don't want to go over like 2.5 hours. So I'm just gonna shut it down for now. It's a lot of information to break down. So we're gonna do the rest of it on Sunday, and but I just want to tell everybody who Polight was, and and just kind of give the background story about him, and where he was coming from. So what do you think, sis?
I'm surprised a lot of people. I'm surprised a lot of people didn't know, who Brother Polight was or wasn't familiar with him coming from the conscious community. But I do understand that. I even before I got on YouTube, I knew of him, and and knew of people that was in the conscious community or came from the conscious community, whether they're no longer a part of it or not. Just it was just all over, all over, especially social media when this case hit. Then it just brought up a lot of other things. But people have been calling out this brother for years, and it's unfortunate that he did that to that young man and did it to so many other people.
Allegedly.
And then, allegedly. And then now, this particular case. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else ended up coming forward and talk about how he took advantage of them when they were underage.
There's a lot of people
Wouldn't
out there.
surprise me at all. Yeah, he was involved with a lot of people, a lot of underage women, a lot of even just some of the women that were of age to have a harem, and have these women doing all these type of things with him and pulling all these type of scams and being a part of it with him is just as guilty as well.
Man, well, let's start wrapping up, Patrice. What do you think? What's some final thoughts about part one, and just where Polight was and where he came to, where he started scamming everybody? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, my thought with him is that he was always up to no good, even from before he even came into the consciousness, as he said. He was up to no good from day one. He was doing nefarious things already. So not surprising at all. He just, career criminals like him just move up to uh, uh, more in debt or involve career criminality. Things that they do. They just elevate. They level up, graduate from
Right.
one scam to another. Whatever that is, and that's all he did. He just went from being a gang banger to a hustler to a scammer to a con artist to claiming to be for the conscious community and the community and uniting his people and things of that nature. He never, those intentions were never there, and he was, and also the pedophilia part of it,
Yikes.
that comes along with that. Again, I honestly believe that he was a victim of Dr. York's and became a victimizer, and that's all he did. That's all he ever stood for. I don't believe he ever had any intentions. They talk a good game, but him, I don't believe his
Yeah.
intentions was ever good for our people.
Oh man. Oh man. It's terrible. It's terrible. Um. Okay, sis. Is that your last word? Oh no. Wait a minute. What do you think is going to happen on tomorrow?
If it's true that him and his attorney is going for a plea, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's gonna plead. He's gonna plead to a lesser charge to get as less time as possible, and it's
Of course.
unfortunate. I don't, it's unfortunate that it's that way. Hopefully, it'll be a lot of time, enough time to put him away for a very long time, where he needs to think about the things that he's done, and I hope he rots there. Unfortunately,
If this stuff is true,
sorry,
man, I
not
hope
sorry.
so.
Sorry, not
Hope so.
sorry. I mean,
Hope so.
it's brothers like him, that they need to get exactly what's coming to him. He have hurt so many people, men and women, but the
Yeah,
child
definitely.
thing, that right there, man, I hope he get it to the fullest extent of the law, whatever that is, even with the plea. I hope they sock it to him real tough.
Definitely. Definitely. All right. Is that your
He'll
last
be a
word, sis?
very, very, he'll be a very, very, very old man when he gets out. Yeah, brother, that's
Yeah.
it. I digress.
All right, girl.
Let's
All right.
do part two. We'll do part two later after
Yeah,
a
we do.
couple days or whatever. Whenever you plan
Yeah,
on
we'll
doing
do
it.
it on Sunday. On Sunday, we'll
Ah,
throw something
good.
else with it. So, but we'll do it back on Sunday. All right, girl. All
Okay.
right.
Salute to the chat. Love y'all. All right, bro. Love you.
All right, look, girl. Peace.
All
All
right.
right.
Peace.
That's Patrice. Now she's the one that told me. She said, "Hey, man, let's do this thing about let's do this thing about Polight." So and I'm familiar with Polight. I think but both of us are very familiar with Polight, so it made it easier to do it because I remember when I first got on YouTube, man, Polight was hot like fish grease. He was all over YouTube. We talking about 2010-ish, maybe 2011-ish. He was all over YouTube, man. He was burning up black YouTube. He was burning up black YouTube, right? He was doing these debates. He was debating. I remember he debated Sarah Sudenseti. He debated Sarah Sudenseti on the Kemet situation. I mean, he debated a whole bunch of different people, man. So, and he was, very intelligent young man. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. Maybe he shout to Roseanne. Roseanne said he's guilty. He's guilty. He's a scammer and a Chester. Well, it's proven that he's a scammer. We don't know about the Chester part. He haven't been convicted of that. He's definitely young Pharaoh took him to court and beat him in court and proved that he's a scammer. But we got to see. He's an alleged Chester. Roseanne. Shout out to Roseanne. He's an alleged Chester until he gets convicted. Until somebody's convicted, they're allegedly whatever, right? A thief or allegedly this or that, right? So anyway, but I know how you feel, Roseanne, but we gotta try to do what the law say, and everybody's guilty. I mean, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. This is America. So we gotta at least play the game and say, well, He hasn't been convicted yet. Now, tomorrow, Polight goes to court. So we're going to see if he's going to plead out. I'm with Patrice. I'm thinking he's probably going to plead out, even though he done made many videos saying, I would never plead out to this. I ain't pleading out to no charges. And Dr. York said the same thing. I'll never plead out to nothing. I'm innocent. And then Dr. York proceeded to do all these different types of things. First, I'm an Indian. I'm a Native American. Now, then I'm a Moor. And then I'm this. And then you can't charge me because I'm not under this jurisdiction. I mean, he tried so many different things. He tried a lot of that sovereign citizen stuff, man. And I'm just saying, I have never yet to see it work in court. Although it looks good, sounds good, but I think it's just out of time with the reality of where we live in at today. It makes sense. I'm not saying it's, it makes sense. It's just how can you enforce it? You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm gonna give you another example of what I'm talking about. There's nothing in the federal IRS code that says you must pay taxes. It's a voluntary tax, right? But try not to pay it. Try not to pay it. You can't enforce that, right? The IRS can seize your bank account. They can seize your job. They can seize your money from your job, right? Anybody that tries to help you, if you try to get a lawyer to help you, they can seize the lawyer's bank account. They call you guys in a conspiracy and seize the lawyer's bank account. That's why it's hard to get a lawyer to help fight with you against the IRS, because the IRS got overwhelming powers, right? Roseanne said Dr. York really did, right? Oh, yeah, he did. I mean, put like this. He admitted to doing it. He just like Polight said, he was, at first he said, oh, no, I didn't do none of this stuff. I'm not going to plead to nothing. And eventually he pled, got 135 years. He's sitting, I think he's in Denver, Colorado with the rest of everybody they want to keep away from, the rest of the people that they want to keep away from the general public, right? They don't want them interacting with other prisoners, right? They got a mile underground, and they can't use the phone. They can't do nothing, right? But it's about what you can enforce, right? They got Dr. York down there. They got H. Rap Brown down there. So they got a bunch of people that they don't want them talking to regular prisoners. They don't. But Dr. York said he did. I don't know if he did it or not. The evidence against him is pretty strong. So many people have come out and said that Dr. York did this and did that, did this and did that. The evidence is very, very strong against Dr. York, unfortunately. Because all of these guys start out with the same program. We're going to help the Black community. We're going to help to build the community up, and we're going to make the woman strong. We're going to make the man strong. We're going to make the Black family strong. Everybody's going to be stronger, and crime's going to go down and all that. They have a good message. They start out with a good message. But it's just that point at where, the point at which they get a lot of power and the accountability partners start fading away, right? They get a crowd around them that starts pushing out the accountability partners out, pushing them out, right? So now they ain't got nobody around them that can hold them accountable and say, you doing the wrong thing here. That's you going off the brother. And there ain't nobody that's perfect. We all could go off the deep end. Any one of us can go off the deep end, right? People talk about these guys like, man, let's throw a bunch of money at you. Let's throw a bunch of women at you. Let's see how you act. And let's take everybody who would hold you accountable for doing anything wrong. Let's take them out of the equation. How you gonna act? Anything you say, whatever you say, here it is. Anything you ask for, here it is. After a while, that can kind of go to your head. Yeah, man. Roseanne said there's a video of Polight saying York was his spiritual father. He never even met him. I don't know if he never met him. I heard Polight talking about how he talked to him on the phone, but I don't know if he never met him. Polight has made indications that they had close conversations, so I assumed that they have been in contact with each other. So, because Polight made it clear that they had intimate conversations, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I think we can see that Polight was groomed to be pliant to the fact of dealing with prepubescent children. I think that's, adults, that's one thing. Teenagers that could fight back, that's another thing. But I mean, that's bad too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's good, but that's a whole nother level. Kids, prepubescent kids, 6, 7, 8 years old, that's a whole nother ball game right there. That's a whole nother ball game of evil right there. And so far, Dr. York pled to it, so I'm gonna take him at his word, right? Say he did it, he did it. This girl, man. Yes.
No, I just heard you say that he had never met Dr. York. I thought that he had.
This is what Roseanne said.
Okay, because I thought he had. That's why I thought he.
Yeah,
if,
me
if
too.
He, if he wasn't a victim of Dr. York, he's a victim probably of somebody. And
well, he was definitely affiliated with the organization.
Right.
And I have heard him mention on a couple of occasions, different times where he had personal conversation with Dr. York. Now, so I just assumed that they were doing that in person. But if they never met, they never met. I don't know. I can't verify that they did or did not meet. I wondered did he ever meet Africa Bambaataa? Now that's a whole nother one too. I'm sure it sounds like he probably did. He was in New York too.
Exactly.
And, that's another one that was under Dr. York. That was a follower of Dr. York's.
That part.
Yeah, man. And Africa Bambaataa he took it to a whole nother level. Africa Bambaataa allegedly. Well, I better not get into that. I better not get into that. But
yeah, that's a whole nother one there too. But it's the same. It's the same situation. He was a pedo and did a lot of that to a lot of people in the Zulu nation.
Patrice.
Allegedly in the Zulu nation. Allegedly. Yeah, no, but that's all I wanted to say. I heard you say because I wasn't sure. I thought they met.
Okay, so this is Roseanne saying they really never met. There's a video of him and York's son praising fake Dr. York. Okay, so I can't verify whether they met or not. I don't know. I just assumed that they did because I know Polight said he definitely had conversations with him, but I just assumed that they had face-to-face conversation, but they could have just had it over the phone or whatever, right? So anyway.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, I'm good.
All right.
Either way, he's a victimizer. Yeah. Either way.
Yeah, we'll see tomorrow. All right, girl, I'm putting you down.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right. All right, that was Patrice, y'all. Okay, so let's start wrapping up, y'all. What did we learn today? What do we learn? Well, what we learn is we got to watch everybody, y'all. Even me, even everybody, even the people you like. This man you see on the screen, he fell in love with Polight. He felt not no crazy. No, man, I'm not saying he fell in love with him as like romantically. No. He fell in love with Polight and his virtuosity and the virtues that Polight was professing to be espousing to him. Now here's the bad part. When you fall out of love, when your heroes disappoint you. So we build this up in our heads, right? this is this person. They are so good. They're this, they're that. And when you finally meet them, they fart and wipe their behind like everybody else, right? And you're like, wait a minute. I thought this person was on a whole nother level. But you find out they just a human being, just like everybody else. Roseanne said the video title to the video of him saying, never met York, is Brother Polight and Prince York. Do Polight still believe York is innocent? It's on Sonnetta's channel. He probably does. We saw a movie, we saw a video earlier, Roseanne, where he was deflecting from a young man. If you go to the beginning of this stream, the young man was telling Polight, hey, I was there. Dr. York did XYZ to me. And so I was only 7 years old when it happened. And Polight was deflecting into, well, where's your parents? How come your parents ain't in jail? And then why didn't you tell your mother? Why, he was doing all the deflections for Dr. York instead of saying, if Dr. York did that to you, he should burn in hell. Like Dr. Collins said, we should bring him back, but he should burn in hell. We should bring him back and burn him again because he didn't die hard enough. We should burn him again. Anybody do something like that to a little kid, little boy, little girl? What should we do to somebody like that? What should happen to somebody like that? What should be the consequences for taking the innocence of a young child like that? Right? You should have to sacrifice the rest of your life. You take their innocence and scar them so that they can never drive straight on the street again. You should be scarred so that you can't drive on the street again. You can't drive on the street again straight. Something should happen to you but we're in a civilized society, so I don't mean we just start whacking people's heads off, but definitely you should be locked away. You should be locked away. And so Roseanne said, do you think Sonnetta is also guilty for protecting Polight for all those years? I think he's guilty if he knew that Polight was diddling little kids. Yeah, definitely. But if he didn't know it, how did he know? I mean, what if Roseanne? I'm not saying, God forbid, but what if your father came in the door and he came home, and next thing you know, the FBI kicked the door in, and your father said, I didn't do it. And you believed your father, would you? Of course you would believe your father, right? Your father said, they lying on me. They putting these charges on me. You find out it's some real serious charges, and your father's like, man, they lying on me. Well, you got a relationship with your father. You're going to try to stop it, Patrice. Patrice, stop it. You're going to try to protect them, right? You're gonna see, this is the same thing that happened with Dr. York. The same thing happened with Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Same thing happened with Jim Jones. Same thing happened with these people that kind of the message kind of went off the deep end. The message started off good and it kind of went off to the deep end, where the people had to, at certain point, they had to open their eyes to the reality of what was going on. And that's hard to do because you love this person, right? You love this person. Sonnetta and Polight had a difficult relationship, but they typically care for each other. I'm assuming, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you can see that they kind of care for each other a little bit, so I don't know if he knew. Patrice said he knew, right? Patrice said he knew. I don't think Sonnetta knew, and if he did, yeah, he's just as guilty. He's just as guilty if he knew. Anybody who knows that, it's just like that's why the Catholic Church is getting sued for billions and billions of dollars, because they knew that these priests was running around doing to these little kids, and instead of turning them over to the authorities to save their face, to save their congregations, they decided to just keep moving these dudes around. So now the dude is doing it in New York. Then they move to Atlanta. Then they move to California. Then they move to Utah. Then they move to Wisconsin. Then they're moving these dudes all over the place. And more little kids, they're getting more little kids and more little kids and more little kids. They kept the scam going. Patrice said, I believe he knew what about his niece, Brooklyn. Yeah, I knew about his niece, but see, Patrice, you never said how old the niece was. I don't know how old the niece was. Now, if the niece was underage and prepubescent, we talking about 6, 7, 8 years old, 9, 10 years old, you might have something there. Right? Roseanne says Sonetta only cares about money. He even said it out. He even sold out his teen niece to Polight. Oh well, I didn't know. He sold her. I didn't know. But Patrice said they were in cahoots together. I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of that story. But if it's true, then Sonetta's just as bad. Who knows what Sonetta's up to, right? It's just as bad, right? But I think a lot of those dudes, they burn and crash because they get so much money and then they get so much prominence. She was underage, Patrice. How old was she? I know she was underage, Patrice, but how old was she? Give us a ballpark figure, right? Because the younger she was, the more I could see maybe Sonetta was. He had an inkling of what was going on, right? If she's like 6, 13, 14 years old, that's underage, but I don't know. You know what I mean? But she's 16, 17, maybe. But 14, 13, 12. Now you're getting back down to prepubescence. And so if that's the case, then maybe you guys are right. Maybe he did know. I don't know if he did or didn't know. I guess it's hard for me to look at a man and see that a man would be okay with another man having his way with a child. It's hard for me to understand that mentality. 14 and 16 years old. Yeah, that's still bad. That's still bad. But I just that's bad. But my thing, the worst that I get when we get under 10 years old, under 13, under 13, 11 years old, that to me is really way off the radar, like stuff that Dr. York was doing. And now, Polight might have done something like that, just got away with it. Who knows? A 14 or 16-year-old is bad, right? But there's some states, Patrice, that 16 is the law of consent, right? I forgot we did that before. We did a stream about that where which states were you could be 16, and I think Arizona is one of them, right? Where you can be 16 and consent to sex, right? So I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but you can look it up. You can Google it. But it's still bad. It's still bad. Me as a man, there's no way I'd be in a room by myself with a 14-year-old girl. There's no way. I wouldn't even want to be in there with one of my own daughters, unless somebody else was in there with me. I wouldn't even want to do that. I don't even let when my wife bathes my granddaughter, I don't let myself or my other sons deal with that. My wife, will say one time, she'll say, hey, it's like when she was just a baby, she would say, hey, can you guys help me with this or that? And I say, nope, no. He and him are never going to watch this baby. Only one that'll let watch her is her dad, my oldest son. I let him watch her, but me and my other two sons, no, never. We will never be in there. And even my wife would bring her in the room where I was sitting, and she'd have her little towel on. I'd call my other son in. I said, "Can come in here, man? Hang in there for a minute." Because see, when you just, and I know, man, a lot of y'all say, "Man, that's anal, man. That's anal, Clarence. Why you got to do all that?" See, now I know why them old men never was around kids. See, when my people from Texas, man, you never caught them old men around little kids. Never. The old man was never around no little kids. Now I see why, because anything could, somebody could mistake and say this or that, and next thing you know, you all caught up over something, and you might not even have done it, but little kid don't know. They just telling lies just to get attention, or not. Who knows, right? Patrice said, "Don't quote me on it, but he said she was underage. It was all over YouTube streets 2 years ago." Oh, I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. But see, we got to have codes as men. We got to have codes as men. See, if I had let's say I wasn't with the wife I have now, I had married somebody who had daughters already, I would never, no. I was dating a girl that had a daughter. About what? I was young, 18, whatever. This girl already had a little daughter already. And she was an older lady, she was about 5 years older than me. So she already had a daughter. She said, "Hey, so-and-so is going to be there." I said, "Oh, no, I'm not going to be there." You know what I'm saying? You ain't going to catch me up. Oh, no. I said, "Oh, no, I'll never be in your house with your daughter." The girl that gave me a key to her house and everything, I said, "No, I'm not going to your house if your daughter's there." "Yeah, they're dropping my daughter off. She'll be dropped off there." I said, "Oh, no, but then I won't be there." I said, "You call me when you get off. You get home, you call me." That's Sister Annie. I respect you for that. Thank you, Sister Annie. Appreciate that. We got to have a code as men. We can't be around these little girls, especially little boys too, but little girls, man. We can't. We got to have a code, man, where we just not around them in a weird way. Now, sometimes I am alone with my granddaughter, right? But we're in the kitchen or we're out there in the family room or something like that where everybody's just not around. But it's not no place where we're secluded from everybody and the door's closed and locked and all that. No. What the Bible say? Shun the very appearance of evil. The appearance. Not even in you doing evil, but the appearance. It might look like it, right? I told you I was coaching the basketball team and I had a girl on my team, right? Her mom made her get on my team. Mom went to me and said, "Hey, this girl's going to be on your team." I said, "Okay." So I took her on my team. She was pretty good too. I took her on my team, right? She said, "Coach, can you take my earrings out? Coach, can you let my hair down? Can you do?" Now, bro, see? No. Let's get your mom over here to do that. Roseanne said, "I'm glad Karma finally caught on with him." Who, Polight or Sonetta? Sam Sims 100 says, shout out to Sam Sims. At 1640, they seem to talk about making women throw up to get some special serum from this. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what is that. What is that? I don't know. Anyway, you gotta explain that a little better, Sam Sims. But anyway, anybody seen Risa, by the way? We gotta check on Risa, man. Make sure she's okay. I ain't seen her in a while. I ain't seen her about a week. Well, we gotta check on Risa, see what's going on with her. Yeah, I just didn't understand that one, Sam Sims. So let me know what's going on with that, man, because I kind of hit me in the left field, man. All right, what y'all think about Polight? How you think he's gonna do tomorrow? Think he's gonna plead? If he got any kind of brains in his head at all, he's definitely going to plead to a lesser charge, like Patrice was saying, and then he's going to try to get some good time and probably be back around, maybe do a year and a half, 2 years, right? And hit the bricks, right? How's he going to get good time, Clarence? There's no kids in jail. All these molesters get good time in jail because there's no kids there, right? They're model citizens in jail. They usually keep to themselves. They usually don't start fights. They usually don't have no issues. They usually go along with the program. They usually obey the situation. They don't want to bring no attention to themselves, right? Okay. That's how I usually go. So Polight, man, if let's say Polight do get some jail time, a year, maybe 2, right? Maybe he do a year max. I don't know. That semen is gonna be hard to explain. That's gonna be hard to explain. You know what I mean? That's gonna be it's gonna be hard to explain your semen on your stepdaughter's clothing and on her skin. That's gonna be hard to explain. And I think that if he's smart, he'll plead, because if they take him to trial, he think he got problems now. he Roseanne said he's a narcissist. I think he will plead not guilty and take it to trial. Oh no, Roseanne. No. He with the semen on the girl's clothes, according to Patrice, he got semen on the girl's clothes. With that kind of evidence, what's the point of going to trial? You're just gonna spend a bunch of money on a lawyer and you're not gonna win. Cash your chips in now. Go, plead to it. Try to get out later. Try to get it expunged, and then maybe you just move on, right? There's nothing you can do about it now. There's nothing you can do about it. I don't think there's anything he's going to be able to say to explain why his semen is on this girl's clothes. It's just not going to be nothing he's going to be able to say. How did that happen? And if they take it to trial, they're going to sit him down in that chair, right? And they're going to say, "Can you explain how your semen got on her clothes?" And they're going to sit back and let everybody listen to that. He got sense. That ain't going to happen. Ain't never happened. He got a little bit of sense, rather, I should say. OG Patrice said he's going to plead. I believe for sure they better give him some hard time, though. No, they won't, Patrice. They won't. They probably give him like 2 or 3 years, and he'll get off him. He'll get out in 1. They better not give him a slap on the wrist. I don't know, Patrice. It doesn't seem like they particularly press hard when it's black women. When it's other women, they press hard, give you a hard time. But when black women are involved, it's like, well, we're going to slap you on the wrist this time and we're going to let it go this time. It seems like that. Black women get the least amount of justice in the court system, in my opinion. Sam Sims says people assume that he was trying to make the girl throw up because she was intoxicated and unconscious. Oh, you're talking about the girl, the underage girl in Polight's room. However, this video suggests that it may have been intentional. You know what, man? I don't know how. I don't know, Sam Sims. How is he going to explain? This is why I say he's going to plead, because if they sit him down on a witness on the chair and they say, "Explain to us how your semen got on her clothes," and she woke up and found it there, it's not going to. It's not going to work. Roseanne said, "I hope they throw the football numbers at him." Well, I don't know. Roseanne said the victim is Hispanic. Yeah, I don't know. They don't do pretty good. They don't do too good either. I mean, they're women. Women don't do too good either. I mean, you got to be really a heinous situation for them to throw some football years at them, right? They don't consider this kind of stuff heinous, right? When it comes to black women and Hispanic women, right? But Patrice said he's not going to testify. He'll burn himself. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not going to testify. But Patrice, Can you imagine if they go to an expert and they say, we got this expert. Now, Mr. or Mrs. Expert, can you explain to us what are the type of ways that this semen could have got on this clothes? Right? Is there any other way outside of ejaculation that this semen could have got here? Not likely, right? I mean, he's gonna get burned whether he testifies or not, right? But I mean, it's gonna be a circus if he has to sit down in that chair and testify. That's why he's in a no-win situation. The best thing he can do for himself is just go ahead and plead out. That's the best thing he could do for himself. He already hurt the kid. What can he do for the kid? He can't do nothing for the kid no more. By the way, I heard he's trying to intimidate the kid not to testify. And all that. He just did so much different stupid stuff, man. He's out the game. He's out the game. But anyway, y'all, what y'all think? Y'all think Polight's gonna plead? I'm gonna play those videos. I'm gonna play a video on Sunday where he's saying no way will I plead. No, I'm innocent. They lying on me, just like Dr. York. They lying on me. The FBI put them all up to it, right? Okay, I don't think the FBI got money for one case. They got money for two cases. They got money for, but all these people that's coming out, and I don't see none of them driving no Rolls Royces or nothing. That young man that was sitting on that bench, man, he looked like he was hard pressed. So it wasn't no payday for none of these people. So come on now, come on. But I think Patrice is right. I agree with Patrice. This guy is never going to get on that stand and testify. He's going to plead, because if he gets on that stand, they're going to roast him like a barbecue pig. They're going to just roast him. They're going to roast him, man. They're going to smoke him, and then they're going to roast him. And then they're going to fricassee him and rotisserie him if he actually if he's stupid enough to get on that stand. Because they're going to ask him one question. How did your semen get on this baby? Explain that to us. That's it. You're going to see him just nailing himself in his car. If he opens his mouth, he's going to nail himself in the coffin. The only thing he can do is plead the fifth. For me, I plead, I plead the fifth of my right as an American citizen. I plead the Fifth Amendment not to incriminate myself. That's the only thing he can say. But anyway, what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? Polight guilty? Looks like it, man. Looks like it. It's like it. So we'll see. We'll see what happens tomorrow. But my money, if I was a betting man, I'd put all my money on Polight to plead. If he got any brains in his head, he's gonna plead. Because if he takes this thing to trial, he's in trouble, man. If that girl has to explain how she felt when she woke up and saw all that semen on her. You really want that all over YouTube? I don't think so. I don't think so. O.G. Patrice said he's not going to testify with Burn. And he said those victims have to live with that the rest of their lives. That's another thing, right? That's another thing. At least the victims get some satisfaction by seeing the guy get punished, right? Get some kind of repudiation by seeing him, taken out of society. But I don't think he's going to do a long time. Roseanne said, I think he will not take the plea. Well, he don't have no choice, Roseanne. Can you imagine what's going to happen if that girl gets up on the stand and starts recounting the story about when she woke up and found that semen? I'm sure he got a lawyer that's telling him, man, you do not want that to hit you do not want that to hit YouTube. You do not want that to hit social media. That girl breaks down and cries on that stand and starts talking about that, man. Polight might not make it home that night, right? The people be so upset with him, man. They're not gonna give him a chance to rest. Ain't nobody gonna. The best thing he could do is plead, take ownership for it, to say, you know what, I did it. Okay, give me a lesser charge. But they not gonna. I don't think they're gonna give him too lesser of a charge. With that semen there, he's gonna have to register. He's gonna have to register. Where was this at? Florida? Yeah, it was Miami. Yeah, he's gonna have to register, man. So unfortunately, the little girl is the one that's gonna have to live with this situation. And her mom is, who I don't know how connected her mom is still with Polight. So I don't know. It's just ugly, man. It's an ugly situation. Ugly situation. Y'all pray for that little girl. Pray for the mama, and just hopefully everybody will, be able to get healed from this situation at some point. But anyway, we're gonna get out of here, y'all. All right, let's do the rundown and let's get on out of here, y'all. The chat is where it's at. The chat's where it's at, man. We had a good chat. Y'all did a good job today, man. I appreciate all of y'all, man. We had some newcomers. We had Sam Sims. Shout out to Sam Sims. Glad to have you in the building. Roseanne, hope you guys come back by and check us out on Sunday. We're gonna do part 2 of the Polight situation, and we might talk about some other stuff. And then the chat is where it's at. No bots, no trolls, man. We just had a good conversation, enjoyed each other's company, man. That's what it's all about, y'all. And so very strong performance from the chat, very solid performance from the chat. The chat is always where it's at. Patrice said they must be keeping him away from the general population in jail. They usually put them paws on people like him. I don't think he's in jail. I think he's out on bond, Patrice. I think he's out on bond. I think he's out. He's out on bond. If I'm not mistaken, he's out on bond. Right? I don't think they have him locked up. They arrested him, but I think he's out on bond. So, but he's got a, what did Desi Arnaz used to tell Lucy? Lucy, you got some splaining to do, right? Brother Polight, you got some splaining to do. You got a lot of splaining to do, man. How you gonna explain that semen away? Right? Man, the best thing to do is to just plead out and keep it quiet. Don't let the details hit the public, man. You know what I'm saying? At least you won't have to testify. Nobody has to testify. It saved the girl from having to testify. She won't have to bring it all up. It can save you from testifying, and you won't have to, it saved the family, the girl's family, from having to listen to how semen got on her clothes. And you're never going to live it down, man, when that girl gets on that stand and breaks down crying because she found semen on her clothes from somebody she trusted and loved and trusted. Yeah, Patrice, he's out. I believe he's out. Somebody check that. Yeah. He's out. I mean, he got bond not shortly after he got arrested. I think he had a $50,000 bond, man. They paid that and he was out. Yeah. Yeah, Polight's been out. Yeah. They just been moving it forward. You know, so lawyers do that. They keep just moving it forward, because they hope that the person memory, the witness memory, or the victim's memory will start dissipating, and they'll catch them in a lie. They say, "Oh, we caught her in a lie here, right? You said this on this day, but that was back in 2019. You said that. How come you changed it?" Well, damn, it's 4 or 5 years later, right? It's finally going to trial 4 or 5 years later, right? Yeah, he's out. He's out, Patrice. I believe so. He's out. But if he does have if he doesn't have a trial date, we'll see. We'll see. Patrice said if she was strong enough to testify, I'd let her. If it goes to trial, but that's just me though. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, if you said if she was strong enough to testify, I'd let her go to trial, but that's just me though. Yeah, I know. I mean, I would let her testify too. She would just put rivets in it. It's not forget nails. She'd put rivets in his coffin. Can you imagine a little girl like that? Well, a young lady like that getting on the stand and breaking down, crying or breaking down whatever, how she came to notice that she had semen on her person, on her face, or that. I mean, I'm telling you, man, that would be so powerful. That would be so powerful. That would be the end of this dude. That would be the end of this dude. He could leave it murky by just pleading, right? I just pled to lesser charge. No details came out because we just pled. That's it. But that girl comes up on this, Patrice, can you imagine if that girl came up on the stand and told that story? I don't believe he'd make it home. He might not even make it out of the court building. Right? Somebody on the block is going to get him. Somebody somewhere, that little girl's family might get her. Who knows? Who knows? And Polight, I don't think he got it like that no more. We used to have all that money coming in, selling these status corrections. He don't have it like that no more, my opinion. But that's just me. Anyway, who was on the stage today? We only had one person on stage today. We had Patrice up there. What y'all think about Patrice? Did she do good? Of course, always. Stellar performances always. Very solid, very strong performances always, right? Came up here. And I'm glad she came up here because we both have a somewhat good knowledge of Polight. We've seen and heard most of the stuff that's been said about Polight. You know what I mean? I remember Polight from way back when he was on the streets of New York, debating everybody, and he was just doing that, right? Then he went from debating people, then he went to having these having live debates in a closed room, right? He was having debates with people like Sarah Suit Seti. And so Seti, I don't know where Seti is, man, but all these dudes, and Seti was so smart, man. Golly, man. But all these dudes, man, they have cracks in the armor, right? I remember Seti said, it's okay for you to do cocaine. I was like, oh, man. You was doing good, Seti. You was doing good till you said that. He said, it's okay if you got to do cocaine in a certain way. And then I was like, oh, man, come on, Seti. Come on, man. But I always got a lot of knowledge. I got a lot of knowledge from Seti. A lot of knowledge from Seti, man. Dude had a lot of information, man. A lot of information. But unfortunately, man, just a different perspective on drugs. All right, Patrice did well. Everybody did great. All you guys asked good questions. Everybody, we all did good, man. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get out of here, y'all. We're gonna come back on Sunday, right? Sunday we go back. We're gonna do part 2, and then we might talk about something else, man. I might get back on this Adam 22 thing because that thing is still going rampant. Where Adam 22 from No Jumper has let his wife, sleep with with other men now, and for money, quote unquote, right? But he's got $2 million coming in the door every month, but I guess they need the money, right? Patrice said, don't leave out the other pedo that's locked up, Nature Boy. Oh, you want to do Nature Boy? Let's do a little bit of Nature. But I mean, man, really, Mike TV eviscerated that dude, man. But we can go over it. But Mike TV eviscerated that dude, man. Real estate man eviscerated him. Right. But we can go over it because that guy Nature Boy, man, he told some chick, man, they had down there to stop taking her diabetes medicine, just eat fruit and just stop taking your diabetes medicine. And that sister passed away down there. Terrible. So Nature Boy's another one, man. But I don't know if Nature Boy's still locked up. We got to check on that. But anyway, we'll see y'all on Sunday, man. Everybody have a good evening. Have the good rest of the week, and take care of yourself and everybody else around you. All right. Peace.